Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Day 2 of Stage 5 of the Call of Duty Challengers Elite Series for the 2021 season. I'm your host, Spaceman. These are my two wonderful commentators and analysts, Fox and Allie, and this is Day 2 of a lot of Call of Duty action to be played and to be watched and to be casted, and we can't wait to share it all with you. Yesterday, we had a lot of amazing matches, but today, we kind of round things out with the rest of Europe coming up first, then North America shortly to follow. Up first on the docket, Team War versus Mavericks will kick up the day, and it just means we get right into some Call of Duty, but I have to ask how my analysts are doing. Allie, starting with you. How you doing? Welcome back, and are you ready for Call of Duty today?
I'm very excited for our Day 2, especially with all the matches up and coming, and I really feel like we're cracking down on some of what our top teams are going to end up being in Europe, so it's definitely an exciting day of Call of Duty.
And speaking of that, let's take a look at some of the standings that we have so far for Season 5. And Fox, welcome in. Same question. How you doing? And looking at the standings here, anything sticking out to you?
I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to seeing this action that we got coming up for us today. We got Mavericks back on top, just requalifying just a few days ago. Elevate, we had them on stream. They stood out to me as just really a powerful team, potentially powerful team, but they're actually finding themselves in the middle of the pack here, starting off 1-1.
Yeah, you look at Elevate dead even right now, and again, we've only played a day's worth of matches, so the numbers will shift today. And the big storyline going in is that this is Season 5, the final season of the Challengers Elite Series, so every single match means that much more, regardless of whether it's Week 1 or Week 3. Mavericks currently in 2-0 in first place. They haven't dropped a map yet, and they have a big matchup going against them. It is Team War in our first series today. Team War right underneath. So if Team War wins this, they hop up to first place. If Mavericks win it, they stay in first place. But Orgliss, the reigning defending champions, are still 2-0 just there with Team War. So we're going to see a bunch of teams shift around today, guys, and this is really where, you know, kind of the interesting discussion begins, because with this being the final season, this is when all the matches matter the most. And the fact that we have, you know, the top 4 teams in Europe staying in the top 4 in relative contention of one another, Allie, I feel like we're going to see a lot of teams kind of shift some of their standings here. What do you think is going to happen today?
I think there'll be a couple of shifts, but just going how yesterday went and how some of these stat lines are standing, I mean, Amelia, Strays, Rejects, and GCPW are all 0-2, so we're going to have to see a little bit of a miracle coming out of them today. After their showing yesterday, I didn't feel like any of the games were really that close, especially for the likes of Rejects and Belgium Power, so they have a lot of work to do, I feel like, today, but if they treat it like a new day and come out swinging, maybe we could see a couple swing games.
And we'll have to see what those swing games are. But before we even get there, let's take a look at the schedule, because we want to know what we'll be watching, and you do too. Team War is up first versus Mavericks, followed by Rejects V2 and Orgliss. That's going to be an amazing series. I can't wait for that one. Team Canada versus No One Shoots Back for North America. And then rounding out the day with the second and final match for North America, it's UYU, welcome back once again, versus Built by Gamers, who are kind of arguably the most consistent team in North America at this point, with Easter not existing anymore, with Western not really existing anymore. But there have been many different changes in North America. We'll get into all that. But Rejects V2 and Orgliss, again, your reigning champs in Team War versus Mavericks. There are a lot of different ways today can play out. Fox, do you think we're going to have as chaotic of a day of Call of Duty as we had yesterday?
We had a long day yesterday with some games that went all the way to the finish. We had that 250 to 249 completion in Hardpoint. We had control with some crazy swing moments. I definitely think it could possibly be just as crazy as yesterday, but nothing's going to top that.
I don't think we're ever going to see something top that Garrison control with 0 seconds. I still don't know how that happened. Don't know how we got there. But what I do know is that the first match for Europe here, Team War Mavericks, is a big one, because this does decide some of the standings currently on our schedule and our standings. And here's a look at the maps themselves. Garrison, Hardpoint, Standoff, S&D, followed by Checkmate, followed by Apocalypse, and then Miami if we have to go to it. We haven't seen Miami that much in this stage so far. It's only been a day or two, but still surprising nonetheless. Let's get into the first match of the day, though, and Team War and Mavericks are up to bat. Both these teams basically fighting for that first place in Europe currently, and we had questions about Team War going into this season. I think it's safe to say they're already playing much better than many expected.
Oh, absolutely. Team War, seeing some of these guys stick together for so long, it's always exciting to watch their journey. Even with the ups and downs, they always make it entertaining. Right now we have Team War up by 20 seconds in the initial push for this hard point, and they have medals and journey to thank for that so far.
A couple of contests early, and so far the lead there for Mavericks, but once more, we couldn't be doing our job and watching all this amazing Call of Duty if it were not for the hard workers behind Waldo and Kyle. Thank you so much to our observing team who always put on the absolute absolute best show possible and give us the POVs that allow us to react to the gameplay you see. And they're the ones responsible for finding the players on the field, getting to their perspective, and showing you the absolute best Call of Duty. We love the observing team and we love their jobs. Now back into the game, it's 33-13, but still Mavericks hold on to the lead. So they rotate a little bit early for P2. They're set up currently with 9-2 for Vikel, and he comes in place of Yako, right? So there's only really been one roster change for Mavericks. Yako's out. He goes to Team War. He takes Invidian's spot, and this has just been a very, very interesting change in Europe because we don't see a lot of roster changes, Fox, but the ones we have, so far they've worked out.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, in the North American scene, of course, we're going to see things shake up quite a bit more, but the few kind of teams finding the missing pieces in Europe have been exciting to watch as well. We're looking through the perspective of Vikul for the side of Mavericks. He's going to actually be taken down just after leading his entire team in kills, having more than all of them combined at the moment, with a stellar performance for Mavericks to swing right back into this game.
And one of the players who kind of stood out in Europe was Eric Boom. He had such a huge following, and in the past, like, you know, Season 3 and Season 4, he was so impactful. Been such a huge fan of his gameplay, but Sukri on your screen and work through the bottom of the floor. And now again, we look at that rotation over to P3, currently set up in the back of lights. And how will Sukri rotate through caution? He won't actually. Journey cuts him down, and Super's able to find 2 on the trade. About a dead even game here, with a lot of the gunfights taking on the outside of the hill. Not a lot of contest time for either team, but we've traded hands back and forth and leads with that said. 5-5 for medals. So far, so good inside the hill with 25 still to go.
If you've been watching European Call of Duty esports for some time, you've seen all 8 names in this lobby at least once. It's going to be an exciting matchup. Do not count Mavericks out just yet, as they've lost the lead. You saw Team War had it right off the rip. I think these guys are going to go back and forth all the way till the conclusion of this map. Metals is going to be getting the scrap time. Of course, he still has 2 players on both sides of him, so getting out of this objective could be tricky. But what the attention is pointed towards is going to be the hard point in the middle of the map beneath green. We got several Mavericks players just above them in your satellite. They're going to hop into the objective, and as you can see, Super, he's already able to find a crucial kill on the point. VQ is going to follow it up on middle map, killing the single lurker from the old hard point that they had. So things are about to get a bit more difficult here as Mavericks dip their foot into the objective.
And based on where Sukri's teammates were, he fell back about 20 seconds ago and moved out to the P2 spawn, held it, so the rest of his teammates would spawn there, and or Metals will come in for the challenge. A cheeky shot at that, but he dips and dives his way out of the fire. But things are looking okay at the moment. You have positioning here. Only problem is you need pressure on the floor. That's where the subs need to go huge, as he will fall out of spawn, and Lucky comes in for the trade. So there it goes, and as quickly as it starts, Team War once again get the full wipe, the full time. They have to start thinking about P5. Super is there in lights, ready and waiting. It always seems like no matter what Mavericks do, whether they're thinking 2-3 hills ahead, Team War has an answer.
Team War looks to be close to crossing that 100-point mark. No one in the initial time just yet. The fight over bricks has only just begun. We see all 4 arrows of Mavericks still sat around catwalk and middle to support the objective player here. Eric Boom ready for a moment's notice with the AK-74 UE. Pops out to support VQ and his double kill. Just easy, simple, slow defense so far. You see the Team War arrows coming from both sides at this point, from satellite and from outside bricks. They'll be converging onto the hard point here shortly. It's going to be up to that line of defense of submachine guns to hold them at bay. So far, they've done just that. Uncontested time as Team War have yet to set foot in the objective. Journey is going to be the one to make the difference.
There's always one big break, and it seems to come through either Journey or Metals with 2 pieces like this, but Journey will eventually drop. And now the swing back for Mavericks is, can they get anywhere near the point? So far, no. Again, 3-4 dead in the kill feed, all red currently. Team War finding ways just to peel Mavericks off of the point and take them out of any realm of contest. As we go back to P1, it's a split for Mavericks on both sides, and Journey currently working through his way in bricks. I mean, if he bamboozles these players, surely things are going to look disastrous. Eric Boom will shut him down. But every time, it seems like, again, Mavericks are in a position to kind of get some control of the mid-floor. They always get caught, and Team War are able just to bounce back, get a couple of kills under their belt, and they change that into some positive hill time. They're doing the same thing here.
You said it, Mavericks, they're just always there. You pointed it out as well, Sukri with the big stop onto Journey. VQ approaching 20 kills. I mean, they've had multiple opportunities in this map where they were just clearly in control. It's now Team War's opportunity, though. As you can see, they're racking up some hill time. That deficit has increased, has grown by about 50 seconds. 3 players fall straight. Now it's just going to be Super on the hard point alone as we wait to read where the spawn's coming from. As all 4 players start to pour in from outdoors, expect to see the players on the hard point rotate to the new one, which is towards satellite. And it looks like they already have Sukri in a great position to defend it.
When we talked about European Call of Duty in Europe as a region, a lot of times we talked about duos or two-piece packages, right? We talked about players like Nasty and Vortex, and Journey and Lucky, or specifically Lucky and Metals, were always players that came to the conversation. And while they didn't have the greatest of starts to the Elite Series, they've had a huge rebound, especially with this new addition of Yaka, who I think brings a lot to the table just in the multiple ways that he can approach the game. But Metals and Lucky, when they get going, they are one of the hardest duos to stop in Europe, and it always seems like the game kind of hinders on their performance. But having Journey there as an aggressive sub who is able to pick up a piece or two on the floor like he's doing now, he will eventually get shut down. And Yako coming in kind of as that support. I feel like this Team War roster finally has all of the pieces necessary for them to absolutely get the job done in every single mode. Now it just comes down to execution, as they've given up the first 30-40 seconds of this hill. Haven't really been able to contest, and that's just credit to what Mavericks have set up, as they have two players inside, one around who will rotate out. Now we look at the rotation again to P3. Things are looking pretty good on the rotation. Who gets there first? It's Team War. Let's see if they get the kills.
And as we see, Mavericks pulling ahead once again. Team War looking to equalize that as they hop into the hard point. Bring it back to some parity here. Tagged up from behind there, the player in the hard point's going to fall, but Lucky stays alive and finds 2 kills of his own to replace him. Now, we're nearing a nearly knotted up game here. Take a look at the players pouring through middle map. They will be the next wave that they have to deal with, and opening up with a kill is Vicule. That should make things a little bit easier. You still have a spawn to fight. They're still set up in great positions waiting for you to turn the corner, which is why you see all 4 players fall. Team War maintains control, and now they have the opportunity to push out. Lucky was rewarded right there to be able to go up on Catwalk. He did not find a kill from it, but that was definitely the right move to make.
He was close to streak, so you shut that down if you're Mavericks. But again, every time they get close to the hill, Team War respond with 3 or 4 dead. A full team might be difficult. You have to regroup, go for a break once more. Now we're thinking about the next hill, and Eric Boom needs to go huge on the floor if they want a chance to stay in this game. A full 50 here. I mean, you take the lead, but you make this more possible. Last thing you want to do is start losing on scrap time alone. Super will open it up with a kill, but Metals gets a team kill. So things kind of trade back and forth. He'll fall. 163 and counting. We slow down in vents now. AR's on the floor for both teams. Lucky break shots, and top green will clean up 1. And a bird onto Super makes it 2. Team War always have an answer for whatever Mavericks are throwing at them.
1 in top satellite, 2 around the corners on bricks, 2 around the corner on bricks, and the player in lights is going to pop out and do the damage. That's Journey. Still staying alive as he pours shots down onto the next one. Support from Sukri up top. The Catwalk. He's going to be up here swatting flies with the SIG in his hand, Krieg in his hand. At a distance, he's able to tag up 1 player on the hard point, but also being locked on way down the hallway. Sukri's not exactly safe here. He will need some support here, as his hill player does fall. Closest one to it is Lucky to replace him, and now he's finally taken down. They had all eyes on Sukri right there, and they really invalidated his positioning as well as they could to now break the hard point and take it over.
28 to make that 29 and 24 on a rampage, but will it be enough to get them back in this game? We go to P5. We're already thinking about P1 once more. But this is the chance here for Mavericks to bring this game back. They know where spawns are out for Team War. Team War kind of splitting the reinforcements, and they'll get cut from the back. Sukri works his way through the back lines, able to find at least 1. Nice shots from Super into lights, which just eases the pressure off the hill. Now down by just 15 points. No one in the hard point. Finally able to get back in. Things have kind of slowed down here in this hard point, right? All the gunfights ensuing on the outskirts. The ARs have had an easier job at picking people apart. But it doesn't seem like there's been a lot of contest time for Team War, and that's credit to what Mavericks have brought on the offensive end. The ARs are getting the job done, and they're keeping pressure off the hill.
Absolutely, and you've had Vicule contributing from the start of this game, certainly keeping his team in the map here, pulling them along. Of course, finding the support on the objective very well, as you see everyone on the team has over a minute of hill time to themselves. So now we see as Mavericks pull ahead by 4 seconds. Got a short lead. They got to set up for the new hardpoint. Vicule sat top satellite here, waiting to support his teammates over on the opposite side of the map near Catwalk. This is still a good point to hold, especially if you have Lucky here, who also wants to fight you for it. Tagged up from both sides. Vicule might not get a whole lot done here. He is taken down, distracted, and shot in the back. The players on hardpoint still racking up the objective, though, and they're able to stay alive without him. Super doing some damage on a 2 streak right now. Make that 3. Again, look at that hill time. Count it up. They're 20 seconds away from winning this map space, and they could do it here.
Yeah, and these kills are starting to finally chain together, and it's only a matter of time, right? You just need 1 flurry, 1 good break, and a good hold. They have it. 10 points needed. Make it 9. Lucky will break his way in with a Diamante. He gets both as well, so that's a nice clear. But with only 9 seconds, you just got to go to next. Fortunately, he gets shot on his rotation, but it's all coming down to one full hit. Journey instead going to go play through bricks. I like the idea here. Try to get behind him if he escapes, but he gets caught, and that is a huge kill from Eric Boom. Make that 2. Eric Boom with a massive double kill, but Lucky breaks in. Lucky's trying to get both. He will with the Diamante. Does he stay alive for long? Only 1 point needed. Mavericks survive. They get map 1. It didn't look like it was going to happen, but Eric Boom gets the biggest 2 kills of the game and helps Mavericks get the lead.
Wow. I mean, I love hard points like these where there are massive lead changes. We saw some impressive streaks, some great single-man clears. It was just a really exciting map to watch, especially with what we saw the submachine guns were able to do. I think they were really dictating the flow of that map space.
Yeah, Journey had the heads-up play. I mean, if he goes right to the top of radar, right through green, I mean, that's what you would expect. And if he gets a couple of kills, great. But odds are you get traded there from an AR sitting on the far back of brick. So what does he do? He plays on the floor, tries to get sneaky behind. And that's a situation where if Journey escapes, he probably gets both those kills and the game's completely different. But Eric Boom stepped up and recognized the call. Did such a great job of being able to read the floor and get both kills in quick succession. Eric Boom here on your screen with the replays. But that map 1 was pretty much all of Team War, and it felt like a map that they should have won all the way through. Constantly having an answer, constantly having 2, 3, 4 kills they could rack up and chain that into time. But Mavericks stuck with it, even on rotations where they were a little bit late. They found ways to get Eric Boom comfortable on the floor in close engagements, and with that, they just kept eating and chaining kills together. And eventually, the ARs picked up the pace, and Vikel with 24 and 18. I mean, he was just stepping up out of his skin. It always seemed like they were always finding a way to make things happen near the end. When everyone needed to contribute, they all did.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. I mean, we just saw a full concert of an effort from the side of Mavericks, right? I think that there was a bit of a slow start. We did point that out, especially with the way that Team War was able to come back into the game. But once we got into the middle stages, everyone evened out, contributed meaningfully. VQL just went around stomping skulls. I mean, it was really nice. It was a great game to watch.
Yeah, and again, sometimes the games come down to big 2 pieces, but you're rewarded those opportunities with the effort you put in on prior engagements. And well done by Mavericks in that one to kind of stay par for the course, right? Stay invested in the game. Don't let each hill get away from it, even though there were stretches where Team War were just dominating in the kill feed and in the score column. Mavericks continue just to fight back, and a nice resurgence in the end of that hard point. 250-211, they take game 1, and now we look at standoff for game 2. This has kind of been the theme so far for Europe. Standoff S&D for that second matchup is the tell of the tales. And now we take a situation where, again, both these teams fighting for, I believe, like a top 2 seeding currently, at least with how the standings are so far for Season 5. This is going to be an interesting game, too, because I honestly feel if Mavericks are able to come out and take it, they might win this series 3-0.
Yeah, I certainly think Mavericks has the firepower to do so. They definitely have the manpower, a great lineup of guys. We've seen them competing in Europe for some time, and I think that they could perfectly well come through and do this. I think that the Search and Destroy will, of course, set the tone. The first couple of rounds, especially with how close that hard point was, you're trying to kind of getting a feel for your competition right now, right? This is only day 2 of Stage 5 of the Call of Duty Elite Series here.
It's going to be a long series. It's going to be a fun one. We got Miami all the way down the stretch if we need to go there. But yesterday, we only saw 1-3-0. It was the very first match of the day for Europe. Everything else was either 3-2s and 1-3-1. Will we have that same situation here as we wait for all the players to get in? Let us know what you're thinking as day 2 of Stage 5 of the Call of Duty Challengers Elite Series for the 2021 season kicks off. It gets underway. Tell us in the YouTube chat who you're taking in this matchup. Mavericks, Team War. This is a huge, huge series. And last night when we ended the broadcast, we had a quick glimpse of the matches today. And, you know, we all share the same sentiment, right? Like, oh, tomorrow's going to be unreal. So far, it's not disappointing. Mavericks bring it back. They take game 1. Fox, we're getting some of the best Call of Duty all season in this last couple of days.
We really are. We really are. And once we get to the playoffs, I'm sure it'll be even crazier. Once these guys get kind of ironed out, get themselves polished and cleaned up and well put together, you know, get some more time together. We have mentioned the state of their rosters, where we see a lot of different players shuffling around, a bit different in Europe, of course, but I think that them getting more time together, especially when they're facing off against teams like War with players that have been around one another for so long, you know, kind of chip away at that advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of kind of advantages, we go into a next series with Rejects V2 and Orgliss, which again has big implications. I mean, that's kind of an underdog fight for Rejects V2. Orgliss, your reigning champions, and I'm so excited to watch that one as well. But we have to stay here. We have to get into game 2. We're almost ready to go. And once more, this is a big day for Call of Duty because this is no longer seasons 1 through 4 where you have a bad couple of days, you can kind of brush it off, go into the next week and try again. This is very much the end of the line for a lot of teams. You have to come out, play as perfect Call of Duty as you can the first couple of days because you only got like 2 weeks left of this season before we jump right into playoffs. And all these teams are trying to make sure they solidify their spot in their seeding for that. Fox, playoffs is in just like 2 weeks. There's a lot on the line for these players.
Yeah, man, there's money to be made, lots of glory to be found, and it's all coming up. It's all gonna matter here in just a few weeks for the playoffs. It matters now, as you said. Each match, so important for your positioning. I mean, we see teams in the middle that normally shouldn't be there. Elevate sat in the middle after just day 1. They still have ample time to play more matches, but you never. Every single map counts when we're getting to the later stages of the season.
You know, I just learned out before we came on broadcast, I just learned out that GCPW, their team name is just the first letter of all the players. So there's always something new to be learned in Europe. There's always something new. I never knew that. That's hilarious. But
I'm glad that clicked for you today.
Dude,
we had a match.
It took me so long. I was like, what is this name? Finally. Like, again, the fun thing
sounds
about
like an
Europe,
airport code.
It does. Like, it sounds like a call on like Express that should be somewhere and around the train. Like the GCPW, he's back.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
All of the maps that we're using right now from Black Ops 2 are verbs. And I'm pretty sure this is not an original thought, and I don't know where I'm going to go with that one, but Raid, Express, and Standoff. Well, yeah. Just interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lots of great maps
right.
going on.
Yeah.
Lots of great maps going
Because
back.
like, a standoff is a noun, but you could use it as a verb. So yes, you're right. Wow, this is why you're with me. This is why I have you here, because you bring
This
stuff
one's
like that.
much
Now,
less important, but of course in
broke my
Cold War
brain,
they're
but-
just locations. We all know that. Miami, Moscow,
broke my brain.
locations around. They're just interesting to see the devs follow a theme with the maps. But looking at this series, of course, we're loading into Standoff, Search and Destroy. And this will be our first taste of both of these two teams on this map, on broadcast. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. At least for this season so far,
Except for
it
Team
absolutely
War,
will.
right.
Yeah, we saw Team War yesterday, but the kind of this specific matchup, absolutely. And again, the nice thing about European challengers, European Call of Duty is thriving. This is the best it's ever been, and the entire region has been very competent with not making like a stupid amount of roster changes consistently. I know North America suffers with that, and that's like a hilarious storyline, but it's been really nice to watch Europe because they have structured teams that stick together, try to work through the problems, and the roster changes are minimal. So we get to see personalities of these players, and the personality of the team dynamic really come through, and it makes the viewing experience and the casting experience super enjoyable. And, you know, with all the chaos in North America, it is nice to come over and just, you know, watch teams that have been sticking together for months, kind of work through the woes and practice a lot of the issues, and they're making vast improvements. European Call of Duty is amazing, dude. I love watching this region, and we get to see stars in this series, right? Like Eric Boom, who had a nice following, but they were able to. Eric Boom had a nice following ever since he first started competing in the bubble scene, and he jumps into Challengers Elite, and he's now a staple here. With some of the small roster changes between like Yako, who originally was on that Mavericks team, like there is a lot here that we can talk about and a lot that fans can enjoy. And we're just waiting for one player to get in. They had a bit of a power issue. All's good now. We're almost ready to go. Let's get into Standoff S&D. Fox, same question I've asked you like 20 times yesterday. I'm gonna do it again. Who are you picking going into this? Who do you think is going to take it? Is it going to be a series lead or a series tied?
I think that we see the series lead extend. I do think that we see Team War drop this map. I actually talk these guys up so highly. I give them a lot of praise, but I just don't think in this matchup they're going to be able to bring it to them. I could see them take the control, but the Search and Destroy, I'm not feeling too confident about it. We'll have to see how it unfolds here as we load into the lobby. The players are all set and ready to go. And Standoff S&D is our game too. If you're just tuning in, once again, we had a hard point of both of these teams going back and forth so many times. We saw leads diminished time and time again. No lead is safe, and just before you know it, the rug is pulled from underneath you. And I think that certainly shows that no lead is safe in this series. And while I predict Team War to lose in this one, I definitely expect them to put up a good fight.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fight against the subs of Journey and Yako.
Yeah.
That's going to be difficult, man. Like, regardless of, I don't care the region, I don't care the level. You play against Journey and Yako, it's going to be a challenge nonetheless. But we're just making sure we get back into the game. We'll get everybody situated. But this is, again, a big matchup because in this game, too, this is the difference between a solid series lead, if Mavericks are able to take it, or if Team War can bounce back. And one of the positives of Team War is that they are known for their S&D. You got Journey, Metals, Lucky, and Yako. You got Metals and Lucky and Journey from Atlanta FaZe Academy, and Yako, who is a wicked sub. Like, this team has all of the resources necessary to get every round done and dusted. Well, you look at what Mavericks bring to the table with kind of some of their slower play with Super on that AR. You got Eric Boom, who's explosive as a sub, and Sukri, who doesn't get enough love on this roster for what he, like, some of his play calls on the field, especially when we're talking about hardpoints and controls. Sukri is a sight to behold. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of like of an envoy, right? Like the route man gets paid. Sukri is
always
smart,
moving,
and he's always moving, and it's a joy to watch. So we're almost ready to go. So if I remember correctly, which I never do, you're taking Mavericks in this game.
Oh
too?
yeah, we're taking Mavericks in game 2.
Okay.
We're taking Mavericks in game 2. I also said earlier that they had that 3-0 potential. I'm going to see it through to its completion, even if Team War just does what they do and surprises me.
You know, I'm going Mavericks as well. I think that they're going to take it 6-4. I think it's going to be close, but it's going to be rough for Mavericks in this matchup because Team War are a very good S&D team, and Mavericks are really going to have to pull out all the stops to get this one done. And on standoff, you can get punished quickly in the early rounds, right? Like the first 10 seconds, you can lose a number if you're not careful roaming through or rotating through mid-street. So we'll see how it all plays out. Again, we would love to know your thoughts in the YouTube chat. Let us know who you're picking. Are you picking Mavericks? Are you picking War? Is there a specific team you haven't seen yet you want to see on the main broadcast, or are you just enjoying all the Call of Duty that we've been able to put on? Thank you to all the players for always coming out and giving it their all and showing us that Call of Duty is thriving. It's been a very long season, but a very fun one, and we're almost ready to crown a champion for both regions. That will come in some time for the playoffs in a couple weeks, but now we get into game number 2. Finally, we are ready to go, and that means that we will decide a series at some point here. Will we see a 2-0 lead for Mavericks or a tie series 1-1, Team War bouncing back? That is yet to be seen. We'll see it here.
Hopping into Search and Destroy on standoff. You saw the statue right there in the center of your screen. It's at the center point of the map in a huge line of sight for both sides on offense and defense. Expect to see quite a bit of conflict once we get around there, especially moving towards the A-bomb site. VQ sprinting straight through it with the bomb in hand. They will be met just around the corner with Lucky. And you saw they were getting tagged up on their way. That's just how important that path is to take and how difficult it is to traverse.
That front blocker and sub Eric Boom drops. Bomb goes down regardless, and the 2 ARs back up. One rotation from Super. And I think Sukri got that kill that was trying to hunt him down, but eventually the trade is there nonetheless. 2v2. Sukri rotating into the play. Vicul on your screen. Into the corner as Sukri puts some shots out. I think Yako got the kill he did, so they're probably just going to hop this, and now it's a 1v2 for Mavericks.
1v2, Sukri's got no utility, but he just was able to isolate the first gunfight. The trade should be coming in here shortly. Still wins it. That's an easy 1v2 to start off the game. Shoot the body. You deserve it. Excellent play.
What just happened here? Lucky comes around for the challenge. Sukri's weak, and he just baits. He just throws shoulders.
Look at that movement. That's what we're talking about.
Yako. Oh, poor Yako. You have to feel for that in a situation.
It's so tough to win those gunfights because you saw how quickly he was moving. From your perspective, from his perspective, it looks even worse as a player trying to tag them with the shots that you need because you have to stop and aim in, and it's so tough. Sukri, 4 straight kills, starting it off with a beautiful ace.
Couple of nades out. A very heavy stack right now for Mavericks. 3 in and around the bomb. 2 more fall. Quickly, Team War getting an advantage. Right back is Eric Boom. They find both. Yako tries to slide back out, gets caught. Eric Boom 2-piece save every single time. He's always able to find a couple. Metals will shut him down. Now 2v1. Advantage Team War, but Sukri looking to the back. Doesn't have the weapon and does get caught. Team War will tie it up.
Answering back the opening ace, we see Team War take their offensive round here. Take their defensive round here, excuse me. Look at that Eric Boom with the double kill right off the rip. You see him taking down a player from L-Wall and a player from Tank. Looking at Sucre here, was unable to find a kill that round after finding the ace. Not too much support from Super and VKill. Still, at the very early stages of this game, and as we take a look through Maverick's second attempt on offense, we'll see if it's nearly as successful as the first. We got Eric Boom down bottom Brown. Nearest players are all in the back alley, spreading out from Deli towards the gas station. So this could be an opportunity to plant. However, Mavericks cannot see all of what we can see, and with Metal's top blue, it's going to be a tough one.
And that slow rotation kind of draws attention away from the site, so once he turned his back, Metals just cleans it up. Nice shots from Lucky. Gets right back in Deli. 4 kills for Sucre, 3 for Eric. Super and everyone else still just at 0 kills. Eric Boom now in a 1v3. I mean, this one is going to be pretty difficult to pull off. With no idea where anyone will be from Team War. Lucky on the opposite corner. Oh, I think he has an idea. Shots and Journey, doesn't matter. Cleanup is there at mid-street. Team War, get it back.
And what we kind of saw there was, right, we saw how the hesitation to plant at Brown was because of the player top blue. So they were trying to play out exactly where everyone was at. They had no way of knowing that there were 3 players back Deli while they were already on the site with the objective. So playing for that kind of information might have looked costly, but there was certainly a method to the madness.
Still looking for that first kill for Super. Metals 3-1 on a 3 spree. At least spot something at A. So if you're going to move bomb up, you're going to have at least 1, if not 2, you're going to have to win over. And that site push just comes down to numbers as Vithul will pick up Journey. First blood for Mavericks. First time in 2 rounds they've been able to get it. So you have numbers, and that's a good sight if you're a Mavericks fan. As Yaka moves up to B.
Yako making the move on site. He's able to slip past Deli. Not spotted just yet because of the 2 players on site at A. He's got the flank and he's going for it, connecting with some shots here. That's 2 kills. Big stop coming out of Yako. Trophy system down, mistake to plant this flag and start setting up shop for defense on this A site. Bombs down on the tank though. Super is trying to defend it from L wall. Looks like he might be traded here soon. The submachine guns are not going to let that one go. Coming from boxes, more engagements coming at a distance as Yako still on middle mat, contributing to all of the chaos. Great play coming out of Team War that round as well.
Nice shots from Yako on this 2-piece to close it out, but Super was so weak. I don't know if I agree with that immediate challenge right off of getting tagged behind the statue. But nonetheless, another round for Team War. 7-3 for Yako on a 4 spree. Again, he's been a great addition to this Team War roster.
So good, and we're seeing it pay off well for him so far. 7 kills, bringing the team right back in this game. You'd be surprised to see that this game started off with an ace from Sucre. Right now, Team War in our 4th round find themselves in the lead. Sat inside Brown is Mavericks as they're waiting for maybe someone to get too aggressive and push up through Brown for a flank. We got 3 players back Deli right now on B in case anything pops off, but it doesn't look like the bomb carrier wants to get too close to the site just yet, as Super is still looking for a pick from top Brown. He might have spotted Yako there, who's not giving him too much of that noggin. Journey in the gas station is going to find our first blood here. Surviving that one, he should be able to slip away and regroup.
And this spread for Mavericks was really reliant on the opening blood to B and back alley. Because then it opens up B and A a little bit more, but the call would beat over to A. You just kind of spread numbers out for Team War and pick them apart as they rotate in. Bomb will go down. One rotating through the back, though. Journey on the long rotation and flank. If he gets lucky, I mean, if they're not watching this flank, he's going to find at least 2. Has to play his life smart, though. VKill turns around. Super should know that Journey's at mid-street. He will. Journey wins the gunfight regardless. 1v2. It was a 1v3. Can he clutch up? Has a full clip to do it. He'll slide out. Eric Boom behind the tractor. And Eric Boom wins it.
Yep, defense a bit too strong right there. That tractor's such a tough point to fight from. Look at this solid cover in front of you. Lots of chest high cover if you need it, and jumping over the top for the slam dunk final few shots. Just easy defensive position to hold with the AR right there, and you win that one every time. Taking a look at the scoreline now as Mavericks stop the bleeding a little bit here. Team War was starting to pull away after that second round, and now we got Mavericks putting one up on the board with Eric on a 2 streak. However, on the opposite side is Team War on another offensive opportunity here. Bomb carrier going through top market, looking over towards blue. This is where we've seen Super sit every time. So, of course, that's the player that Lucky is hunting for. So now we're still working our way towards the A site here, Space. But you see, Metals was able to cross safely, but he is alone with 2 players just around the corner.
Yeah, and smart call by Metals just to back out. If you get picked, I mean, that shuts down any advantage the bomb had to be able to move up. Another pick by Journey. He's the only one really out of position, and now you can kind of play around bomb as well, because if Journey's shooting like that, it makes the engagements a little bit easier. Eric Boom has to clean up that kill. Don't worry, Super will. And the decision to go to B is the only one you have. Super with 2 kills again. Lucky will kill him. Will he get bombed down, though? Awkward peek. He's going to get pinched. Nowhere to run. A great collapse by Mavericks. Well done on the defensive round.
Yes, indeed. Mavericks tying it up here at 3-3. I said they stopped the bleeding, and now they look to be holding on tight for the rest of this map. We see Super sitting top blue. He's been such a threat here, time and time again. Team War dedicating lots of resources to try and take him down, but he's just been knocking them down as they come. 5 and 6 up to this point, contributing to a lot of the engagements we've seen so far in this S&D. As we're tied up at 3-3, we look to see how the offensive team bodes this time. Bomb carrier VQ, all players committed towards the A site. Metals is the only one there, the lone wolf, about to be separated from the pack for good as Eric Boom takes him down. That's a first blood for Mavericks.
We talk about positioning a lot, but sometimes you can just overwhelm that with full force. Bomb goes down. Oh, what a weird challenge. Eric Boom will get shut down. Journey with 2, Yako with the 3rd. Last alive is Sukri. I mean, if he gets a peek and gets lucky, maybe he peels him off the bomb, but he will. He gets him off. Oh, the turn almost onto Yako. Yako with the heads-up play on the rotation, gets right behind. And that is why you have Yako on your team. I mean, again, stepping up when called upon. 4-3. That was a weird collapse on site by Mavericks. It looked like it was just awkward timing moving in, but Vicky will put bomb down and then ran in and just looked the wrong way. Like, he just gets caught. He looks at his teammate, and Eric Boom was left in a situation where he has to win a huge jump fight that he's just not going to.
Right. And Journey wins those gunfights every time then, coming into Cube with people caught off guard. At the submachine gun battle, you're always ready for. And tagging up and finishing off both sides, they're able to clear that one out. Looking at the offensive team this time, it will be Team War. Yako, 9 and 5, looking to be the first player to crack 10 kills with how he's been playing so far this S&D. Crucial part of his team's success right now. The closest one to his kill column will also be Journey. And we mentioned before, these guys are just always moving on the map. Metals as well has been able to give this team so much information, I feel, even if he has not contributed kills. Moving up the middle map, there will be 2 players just around the corner. He loses the 1 gunfight he needed right there as they come out to challenge. And now Blue is still safe with that as Metals was unable to capitalize on the flank. Bomb being planted here. No one's close enough to this action, though, so we should see stellar post-plant positioning coming from War.
This is a fantastic play and draw up from Team War. They had a late late push with the bomb, a delayed hit. They draw a lot of attention to B, and then when everyone's focused on the site, they just quietly put the bomb right up on A and put it down. Journey working to the back again. He's so pivotal with 3. What a play from Team War. Oh, that was so well drawn up. It sounds simple, right? You just delay the push with the bomb and wait for information, but they drew all the attention over to the B bomb. Once everyone's focused, just quietly move bomb on the outskirts and put it at A, put it down, and let Journey work through the back line.
Oh, yeah. Journey's got to clip that one.
Strat. That is a
Journey's got to
perfect
clip
strat
that
from
one.
Team War. We love that. Oh, 100% clip that. That question.
Back into the action we go with Team War at map point. Journey with 12 kills will be leading the team so far, especially after that exemplary play that we saw on middle map. 1 on site, a distance away. There will be someone just underneath you this time, Sukri. That's Journey in Brown Courtyard. He's got a crossfire set up as well, so Vikil is not going to be able to make too much progress with the bomb until they're accounted for. And now we see a lot of the Mavericks' effort mounting up through the back alley, but Lucky was ready and waiting for it. An easy first kill onto Eric Boom, and he's going to be able to get away with his life after being tagged up.
Nice shots, good response, 3v2. You don't want to lose this advantage, but you're also wondering, Are Yako and Lucky bunching up? Vikul with a massive gunfight in front, and Yako, I mean, he plays spoiler. Will he get spotted, though? This is such a cheeky position. They don't see him. Oh my god, they don't see him. Oh, he's just gonna go out for the peek. Oh, he almost finds two. I thought he was just gonna try to stick onto the bomb and get the defuse. Lucky in a 1v3. He should get spotted. He will stay alive somehow. Finally gets hunted down. 4-5. Mavericks get one back. I thought in that situation, Fox, he was just gonna have like kind of trigger discipline, wait around bomb, try to stick the defuse. Instead, he goes out for a challenge, and Mavericks will get around.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. It's always really tough, a tough call to make in the heat of the moment. But the fact that he was able to stay there and remain undetected for so long is very important. Good call in the first place. Got Team War still at map point as Mavericks. They're able to stay alive. Sukri will be the next player to break double-digit kills. 10-6 at this point on a 2 streak. The plants are coming from VQ, though, as he is 3-8 at the moment. Round courtyard under control of 3 different Mavericks players. It's going to be Sukri all on his lonesome at the A site.
Nice shots from Eric Boom. And Sukri is not falling for that slow play with the bomb again. I mean, he is making sure he has eyes on A as attention once more over to B. Yako gonna crawl his way through the top of the market. Will he spot anyone? So far, nothing at Broken. As Journey and Lucky are making their way around Delhi through the back alley, and they might try to go for this long rotation to A. But again, the longer you take, the more information there is for Mavericks to read through. Now the question is, can Yako rotate back into his teammates in time to find some trades? As Lucky hops over the wall but sees nothing.
He's looking for him on the opposite side of that tank. There is an enemy, but of course, great positioning there. He's able to angle himself off of it. Journey will also be close enough to hunt for it. Someone in the courtyard. Yako's going to have to get this gunfight going here soon. Super is going to win it, though. Peppers him just enough to take him down. Lucky's there for the trade, but cannot connect with the shots. And Mavericks, they bring us to round 11.
This is great patient by Mavericks. Like, you got Sukri over at A, so they're not falling for that same push again. A great counter, right? They're not blind countering any specific site. They're splitting their resources, and they're waiting patiently for information. Because Team War have shown them that they'll slow down the cadence of the game if it allows for an opening. So Mavericks said, okay, you slow it down all you want. We're going to do the same thing. And since you have bomb, you obviously just have to make the first move. And nice response. And now we go to round 11.
Lucky, your bomb carrier is moving up towards the B-bomb site with trophy system in his back pocket. They also have the support of a teammate's trophy system just behind him. However, the enemies in Delhi will be a problem should they decide to peek. The wall bangers are keeping Super at bay, so he can't stop the plant. Just at the last moment, he pops out and is able to find the kill. Super's taken down as well, though. Eric Boom still sat pretty top blue, taking Super's position this time as VQ is sat close to the site, waiting for someone to come and check it.
Metal's in the back, but they're sticking it. Vukul's on it. Oh, Vukul's on it. What a play from Vukul. Did he get it? Oh my god, Vukul, the absolute clutch mad lad. He just stuck the bomb while all the chaos is going on in the back. I'm thinking Metals is going to find something and rotate in. Vukul just hopped on bomb. That was so smart. What a play from Mavericks. They get it in round 11.
Honestly, crazy stuff. I knew it would go the distance. I knew it would go the distance. I was not calling around 11. I also wasn't expecting the ninja defuse to be the conclusion of round 11. I mean, really stellar performance from both sides, but we saw Journey was able to contribute so much. The bomb planter for the side of Mavericks, we saw a great contribution from that team after the ace.
Metals was sitting at back boxes, and I'm thinking, okay, he gets a kill. Maybe he tries to challenge Eric Boom, who's on the other side of the map. Maybe Metals rotates to the statue and tries to challenge Eric Boom. At that point, you have Journey low on the bomb. All those situations, Vikul just hops on bomb. He just hops on bomb. They definitely could have. He just sticks it. I mean, like, that's just so well done, and the recognition of kind of, you know, we talk about teams being able to play through chaos and very quickly make a decision. That is a perfect example of great counterplay from Mavericks there. They take it in round 11. Wow, a great S&D all around, a very fun one to watch. But now we look at the control coming up, and this is the situation we talked about, Fox. We said, is it tied up? Is it 1-1? Is it 1-1 or is it 2-0? Mavericks now have the lead. This is a huge map, not only because it's control, sure, but, you know, if you're going to put away Team War, you put them away here and you do it now.
Oh, for sure. Do not give them any room to breathe. They will come back on you. This is a stellar team. Do not let the 0-2 deficit in this series fool you. I mean, what we saw last round was the conclusion of two teams that had never faced off on this map before. Standoff, search, and destroy. Right now, we're moving to something a little bit more familiar as we get to control. So I wonder if that kind of establishment is what will benefit Team War more than Mavericks here.
Checkmate control. It can be a fickle one. We got Apocalypse Hardpoint, which we know the subs will eat. When we go to Miami S&D, we look at a 2-0 lead currently for Mavericks, and kind of key takeaways here going into this one. Obviously, you look at Super with the AR, but I think, again, if Eric Boom can be a two-piece machine, Mavericks are in prime position to be able to take this series 3-0 and start the day off hot. And what a way to do it against Team War, who, again, you know, one of their stronger game modes is that S&D, and playing on a map like Standoff, where Journey could absolutely have a field day. There was a moment where Journey was like 12-5. Like, he was really carrying Team War through. And with all the things that Team War threw at Mavericks, the strats were in full display for both teams, and it was so fun to watch. Mavericks kind of, you know, crumbled under some of the pressure for a couple rounds, but they bounced back and they countered really well. And now we go to Checkmate. Fox, kind of your thoughts on the series so far, especially that S&D.
There's something to be said about the fact that both of these teams in that last search and destroy seem to have these moments where they were able to take the game's pace into their own hands, slow it down, and come together for a cool, calm, and collective play that they all execute together. I think that you especially saw that on the side of Team War when they were trying to piece together exactly how they're going to deal with Super or Eric Boom at top blue. But that did not stop Super and Eric Boom from remaining to be a threat throughout the entire map, which is why we went so far into round 11. So all of that to be said, with all of that said, I think that what we're going to see is Mavericks close out at 3-0. I think that they've shown themselves, they've proven themselves to be so competent in this matchup against Team War that they're going to close it out here in Game 3.
Well, let's see what happens. Can Mavericks win this series 3-0? Or will we see this one go to another hard point? We have yet to find out. That's why we play the game. Minute 19 on the clock. Let's get everyone into the lobby. Let's get it going. Eric Boom on your screen, who's been a two-piece machine today. And they're flooding right through the point, trying to get these spawns locked down in the back, make things easier. They get both kills, and that is a perfect way to start. But Journey gets both right back. A huge play from Journey that slows down the progress on A.
That's got to feel good, seeing Journey hop into the lobby and do more of what he did in previous maps. Always a stellar submachine gun player to watch for the side of Team War. 2 straight so far for the guys in red as they're sat near this point, trying to mount up an effort of defense here on the A point, as a lot of the players of Mavericks still have control of that plane. 2 are sat back in their base, but they will be joining you here shortly for your flight. Still, coming out on top is the defensive team. That's Mavericks able to keep the offensive team, and that's Mavericks able to keep them off of the plane and get some more progress at A. Get some more comfortable footing here for Super and Eric Boom to do their damage.
I like that decision for Eric Boom, right? Pick up a creek and move over to Tetris so you can catch players rotating off spawn and just lock them down. You don't need that sub pressure inside currently because Vicule is there. And then you have other members as well who can move in and do some damage. Super and Eric Boom combining for a couple. Eric Boom almost able to get 2, but the progress will slow down on A. Not a lot at B just yet, but they haven't decapped it, so Team War are committing their resources over to this A point. Now they get back towards plane control. Up to meet them is Vicule. Will he find anything? That is the question. Yako on your screen, looking for players back NASA. The spawns are there for Mavericks. Only 27 seconds to go. So, you know, it's kind of gone back and forth in this first round. Mavericks have a lot of positives. Team War playing great defense. But you only got 20 seconds. You have to get onto the point somehow, and it's going to come up to Vicule on this 1v1.
Coming up for this 1v1, Vicule, your victory here determines who captures this point, but at a distance, the support comes in, and it's just enough. Metals with 2 kills. He's able to clear out the base, stop the progress of the tier 3 tick progress here, and Yako's going to follow him up as he falls. This is exactly what you want. Play those trades, fill the gap, play that position well. Yako staying alive and doing as much as he can here, getting the high ground to finish the gunfight. Love that movement from the submachine gun player. Lucky hops in now as well with the Diamante in hand. And Team War, they're able to stick it out, force the issue on that A control point and keep them out.
These constant one-on-one challenges that just show you that you need at least 2 members, if not 3, inside the point. Well done, and Super in your best play of the round. I mean, it was good offense there from Mavericks. They consistently were putting numbers inside, finding ways to get 2-3 kills, chain them together. But they couldn't have a strong presence with the AR on the outskirts to kind of watch players rotating in. And Team War had an easy time at challenging right on the point. They tried to put Eric Boom out with the Creek. It didn't work too much. And now you look at a first round win for Team War. We get right into round number 2. Team War will be on the attacking side. What did they choose first? We saw A as the terrible spot earlier. Now we wait to see what they choose.
Watch how all the action unfolds in the plane. We see Lethals and Tacticals coming out. Vicu's going to lose the gunfight right from the get-go. Yakko, someone has to respond to him, and Eric Boom does it. They still can't get past Super and Sukri, though, still staying alive from the first wave of engagements. And they've also both been able to take over the two major parts of the map for point A and point B. This plane control, oh so important. Eric Boom hopping out to support the cause on the site, but he gets shut down just that quickly as Journey and Yakko are not letting anyone in. They start to make progress on point A as you see that first tick has been achieved. And again, plane control in favor of Team War as we're looking through the perspective of Lucky.
10-4 on a 5 spree. You're about 2 kills and an assist away from streaks. Gonna get caught. Huge kill by Sukri. I mean, just kind of for decisions down the road. You don't have to worry about artilleries and or missile strikes. Eric Boom working to the back is gonna find 1. Plane control here for Mavericks. And numbers quickly fall. Working it back from a deficit of about 6 kills down to 2. Mavericks in a prime position to be able to hold on defense. Great shots from Super. Range 10-5, double positive. Back up to the wing we go. How do you play this if you're Team War? Do you continue to try to stack right in the bottom of B? Or you try to move your ARs out to the outskirts where Lucky is clearly playing? And Lucky will at least get a stun out, but so far so good. And a rotation from the back from Yakko will cause some spoilers as he gets all the way behind the entire spawn.
Getting behind the entire spawn so important, but we're still looking through middle map here as Eric Boom is trying to figure out what he wants to do with this positioning. He ends up getting caught after not being able to lock onto anyone. Journey will punish him for that hesitation, punish him for that lack of action. First tick progress has been achieved at point B, with a minute and a half on the board. They're certainly in a good pace to complete it. Of course, with lives remaining, Team War lead in that regard as well, 17-11. And Journey in a stellar position that no one's going to be able to respond to unless that flank is completed. And Eric Boom does just that. Vicul does just that. Eric Boom is still dancing around middle map before being taken down. Vicul last alive from that wave of engagements in Team War. They continue to lead in the kill column, 14-5, and they have not 14-8, and they have not given up the planes just yet. Space.
No, Sukri's doing all that he can to bring this one back. 12v7. Eric Boom in the plane, 8-12. I mean, it has not been a slaying performance for Mavericks, but you don't always need that in control. Just get the right kills at the right time. Yakko very patiently working underneath, and he's uncontested here, so he should be able to get a little bit more progress. Now gets tagged. Here come the teammates for support. They're going to get B. No one around for Mavericks to stop it. That's going to be the second round for Team War, and the patience is paying off. So the patience that was in that S&D that worked so well carries right over to the control, and they're already up 2-0.
That's right, 2 straight for Team War. We see a very well calculated game of control so far, especially if we're looking through the eyes of Journey, who has just been a menace, always moving on the map. And you see right here, no hesitation, picking up the Krieg and goes straight for the spawn kill. He knows his job when he's in that position as the frontline player, as the player closest to all of the action, and he wants to just get behind them and stay there. Team War, I mean, you kind of see that they clearly have an understanding of how control is played on this map.
And this is one of those games where you got to put Team War away, because if this goes the distance, you have a feeling that round 11 won't happen the same way again on Miami. Super. Now we hop over to Vicul's POV. Tries to eat an 8 and dive out, but everyone falling. All blue in the kill feed, followed by a bit of red. Last alive. Playing control to Team War. 26-27 again. They have the life lead. Not by much, but still worth noting. Nade flies out, and there's a trade. Minute to go. What's the decision here on the attacking side as Mavericks are trying to put a lot of their reinforcements over A, but they're getting shut down so quickly in Journey, wasting no time when the engagement gets right out. ARs are pushed up, and ARs are finding Super. He's going to get traded. Nice Guardian wing there. Super will get onto the point. Can he get a bit of progress?
Team War sent 3 players to this point, and Super still came out on top. He was able to flank around through mid to attack the guys on crates. So Mavericks, they're making this play when they actually sent fewer players at a time than Team War did. Great positioning right here from Eric Boom with the Krieg. All you got to do is hold down the hallway. Double challenge, a tough one to win. Super hopefully follows it up after he was able to pepper both of those players. That's a big stop right there. Those 2 kills certainly just determine who's going to capture point A.
Nice beat down. A will be locked down. 50 seconds, and put another minute on the clock. Yakko can't win that gunfight. Position here at mid plane for Mavericks, and great shots from spawn. But Team War are still in and around, causing some threats. It's up to Journey. And things have really slowed down here, Fox. I mean, it seems like it's just kind of isolated gunfights right on the outside of the point. Up to Mavericks to make a play on the zone, but with a minute 25, you can kind of buy your time here. Eric Boom with a massive win. How do you get reinforcements around? Team War are just flying at the point, and they're winning gunfights.
Oh yeah, and Metal's here. He knows what his job is. He's been able to slip the net. Staying alive would have been so valuable right there to give his team some time to move up into the plane. But you see, Vicky was going to find that kill and start to connect with some more damage on middle map, and it ended up being just enough to support Sukri and Super, who are taking over the plane right now. And now they're on their back foot.
57 seconds. You got to start working on B. Finally, they get onto the point. For Team War, it's 13-5. You got one kind of real push, and that's it. After that, this should be the round for Mavericks and a good response. The patience pays off. 50 seconds to go. You just need 4 kills. I mean, this round's done. This would be a heroic stand on defense if Team War pull this off. And you can see the Mavericks are taking their time to approach.
4 lives, 40 seconds. Journey, you see how scared he's playing, because if he falls, that's it. He's out. First gunfight loss right there. VQ Super, Eric Boom. Wow, 4 straight Mavericks. Wipes the careful, patient Team War from their 4 remaining lives there to get their first round win in this checkpoint control.
It's just a big round. Good response from Mavericks in this one after being down 2-0. And, you know, a lot of it came down to, obviously, plane control, which got broken by Team War later into the round, but the patience, Super at 23-12. Finally, the kills are starting to chain together. Eric Boom, 14-19 on the other side. You got Journey kind of leading the way there with 20.
Right.
The Team War, full team performance, and I think that's the thing, right? Like, Mavericks are going to have everybody on the same page, because Team War are very quickly getting through their gunfights and taking back map control.
Right, and a lot of Super's kills are happening on crates and on the plane. He's where he needs to be, but there just isn't enough follow-up to his play right now. Continuing the streak, that's 3 in a row. No one on Mavericks has fallen in the past 2 minutes of Call of Duty, it seems. Team War still struggling and limping along through this map as they started off a stellar 2-0 lead. But Mavericks, they certainly set a good tone here in the first opening wave of engagements of this round. Of course, they do still have that deficit to work through. Team War is at round point, game point.
The minute that Sukri falls in the plane, this whole round changes, because you can play that spawn trap if you're Mavericks as long as there's an AR in the plane. He drops, and now you have pressure on point. And that's huge kills by Team War. If you're on defense for Mavericks, you have to get some map pressure back through the plane. They do just that. Great collapse in onto A. Well done on the recovery and the response as Eric Boom is uncontested under the wing, cleaning up everything. It is a huge couple of kills there for Mavericks.
Pivotal moment here as Eric Boom is now able to stay alive around plane. Oh, ends up getting double team right there. Great coordination from the 2 guys on Team War. Lucky will be the one to get the kill, but Vicul and Super follow it up. Super's always there to follow it up. 25 kills now. Take a look at this action. He's always moving around the plane, always around these wings, and being so disruptive at every long line of sight he's able to find. Now, just coming up right there, he was unable to take down Lucky with the AR, who's now going to be in a great position to support his team on the efforts at the A site. Take a look at that. He ends up engaging and finds 3 different engagements just like that to allow his team to stop the clock just before it runs out and get on the point.
Nice shots from Metals. He's so weak, but somehow still alive. And they burn enough time. Mavericks send it to an overtime again. We go to situations where match point and now series point is here for Mavericks. They burn enough time. They keep players off the point. And it really has come down to kills, right? Like in the start of this control, they just weren't able to find much. You had 8 kills apiece for basically everyone other than Super. In this past 2 rounds, everyone's moved over around 20 kills. And they're not only breaking even, but they're getting into situations where they're just slaying out. 26 and 16 for Super. 20 kills for Vikul. Sukri at 22. Eric Boom at 20. They have turned around the slaying, and you can see the positive effect it's had on the rounds.
It's such an even performance from the side of Team War, but they are still just barely holding on and now letting go of the lead that they had established for themselves. On the side of Maverick, it's mostly been Super who's been pulling his team along throughout this game as the remaining guys started to catch up. And now everyone has been able to contribute in a huge way. And I think that's going to spell trouble here for Team War in overtime, because Mavericks, they're ready to go. They're ready to close out this series 3-0. Once again, Super around the plane, catches one, peeking out just a little bit too far, takes his head off his shoulders. Yakko, waiting patiently, is able to catch Vikul off guard, but the Semtex from Eric Boom is going to do it. Finishing off that engagement, we move over to the A point where Journey's able to catch Sukri in the back. And with 3 straight falling, that should be a stellar defense, a defensive hold from the side of Team War, and sending Journey up to get some disruption with their spawn going. Look at this play. Shot beat down, first crucial kill right there, and once again, Journey just keeps moving and keeps staying alive as a nuisance.
Journey is the player to be in this position, but the kind of the win conditions here. 1, Journey being a menace, but 2, for Mavericks, lane control is massive, and Super continuing to heat up. If he slows down, this is going to be a round win for War, and we're going to a hard point. 21-18. Mavericks have to start making a move towards a point. You have to get on to B or A. What's the call? Eric Boom. Cat mouse game won't win the gunfight. Super comes in and helps him out. Metals will shut him down. Super now under the wing, has to take out Metals, and finally they get onto A. Super with a massive kill, and they'll hold on for another couple of moments, but it's one push for Team War that could decide this game right here. 17 v 16, Lucky on your screen. Super out in front. Here comes the challenge. He wins it regardless. How does he do this? Lucky waiting for Eric Boom to challenge. There will be the response from Team War to get onto the point. Is unreal. They clean up everyone. That's going to be the map. We're going to a hard point.
Team War finally taking it in overtime. It was looking real sloppy there as Mavericks started to pull it together and come through for the victory. But Team War, they were able to hold it down. And I mean, Super, these wings, he was the wind beneath the wings of this plane. I mean, this guy was really supporting so much of Mavericks' efforts around the plane and maintaining control of it throughout this map. It ended up not being enough in the end, and I think that a lot of that can be owed to the disruption from Journey.
If Vikul wins that challenge as he jumps out and Lucky dies, that is probably the round for Mavericks. They probably win this game in this series 3-0. The fact that Lucky won those 2 kills and then shut down Eric Boom under the wing, that changed the entire round. And yes, it was near the end, but it just, you know, the awareness and the shot, the skill there is unreal from Lucky. And you see it in the replays here as map 3 has concluded. It was Team War who took a 2-0 lead. Mavericks who bounced back and made it 2-2. Went to the overtime, tense as ever, but Team War clutch up thanks to Lucky. And very much of that, it was a lucky round, and thanks to him, they moved through to another hard point. We'll see it on Checkmate, but, you know, playing control and Super popping off, they had all of that, but what we didn't account for was Lucky going demon mode and finding 3 kills at the biggest time and shutting down pressure on A, and then taking Eric Boom out of the equation on B. Those are the 3 biggest kills of the game.
Oh, for sure. Taking down Eric Boom was a high priority kill. Super as well, who was always so disruptive, moving up and down, on top of and below those wings. Inside of the plane, I think we saw a lot more effort out of Eric Boom, facing off against players like Yakko. And really outside the map in general was just Journey, making lots of movement throughout the map. So I think that everyone just kind of had their dedicated role, their dedicated purpose in that map, whether or not it was on purpose. And I think that they all found ways to contribute meaningfully in that very long game of control.
We go to hardpoint now. We go to Apocalypse. This is again where if your subs are showing up today, which so far both these teams have had that, Journey is going to be a menace here. Eric Boom is going to have to match Journey. Like, that's, for me, Fox, that's the matchup. Journey versus Eric Boom. Who's going to win that will decide this map.
Yeah, Journey will terrorize you. He will get behind you over and over again. Even when you think you see it coming, he's gonna muscle his way through you and make it happen anyway. If there's a gap right there, we constantly see Journey exploit that, and he's able to create so much space and so many opportunities for the rest of his team as they move up on the map and support him before he's able to finally and inevitably be caught. How many? I feel like we could build a highlight reel of Journey's streaks on control of getting behind people like that, and hardpoint as well.
Yeah.
Respawn game modes, he's just all over it.
Yeah, and it's not just what he's doing this year. Like, he was doing the same thing last year as well. I mean, you and I saw it firsthand during the Challenger season when, whether it was like Gunrunner, Hardpoint, or St. Petro, he found ways to work between the chaos, and he would just disrupt any setup you had inside the hill. 2 pieces, 3 pieces left and right. The dude's a machine. He's an absolute menace, and it's a sight to behold. But here's a look at the series layout. Mavericks took first 2 maps in a surprising and exciting round 11 and a very good S&D all around. And Team War bounced back in that control. Now, again, if this goes to an S&D for Game 5, I think Team War might end up taking the series, because that control was really where you got to put them away. We go to Apocalypse and Journey is playing like this. It could be a very long day for Mavericks.
Yeah, right. Especially with how the hot hand that we see Journey's playing with right now, it certainly looks like Team War is positioned to come back in this series. I still gotta give it to the side of Mavericks, though. I mean, these guys weren't despairing when they were down 0-2 and kind of getting trounced in that control for a short period of time. We saw them, of course, coming back in great ways in the search and destroy. So I definitely don't count them out just yet. I think that we could see a 3-1 victory here, but like you said, it's all going to come down to that SMG battle and who's going to run Apocalypse the best.
And we wait for everybody to get ready. I believe we're almost good to go. And again, we would love to know what you guys are thinking in the chat. If you're enjoying today's broadcast, if you're enjoying Call of Duty Challengers, let us know, because these players are putting on an absolute performance. And the skill level that we're seeing in Challengers is the best it's ever been. This is the best that Call of Duty at this level has ever performed, and it's awesome that we get to see players with these storied careers and players with this much talent doing what they're doing against people at the same caliber. So we're hoping that Journey keeps up the performance. We're hoping that Mavericks keep up that confidence. Let's get into the game. Apocalypse Hardpoint on your screens now. Who's gonna win it, Fox? Give me your prediction right now.
I think we see Mavericks close it out here. I know Journey's going to show up, but I think that we're going to see a more well-rounded effort from the side of Mavericks. I mean, we saw what Super was able to do with the AR in previous rounds in this game. I think it's going to be a really, really tough thing for them to stop. I don't think they have the answer right now.
Well, if Super is shooting the way he was in that control, I mean, it might be too much to overcome. But again, you're going to need Eric Boom. You're going to need Vicule to be able to match what Journey brings. So far, the shot's a little bit shaky, but don't worry. You got teammates in there for support. Asukri comes in with the AR in hand. Metal's working through the top. P1's usually highly contested, but sometimes you can rack up a bit of time and then channel that right into Rugs on P2. You can put up 100 points very quickly on this map. The lead there for Mavericks, but working to the back, it's Yako.
Lucky and Journey alongside one another. They're able to take down VQ as he slipped by. Yako also there to support. All four players from Mavericks fall. Take a look at that spawn. All the way in the bottom right-hand corner. So close to the action still is Yako. You got some plays to follow up here, buddy. Tagged up, bloody red. VQ will finish the job. But the pressure was what was so important. Him and Journey were trying to get in here because they want to have control of the new hard points to rotate to P2. And Journey staying alive is so crucial for that effort. They're trailing by just a few seconds, but finding the initial time is Team War as they now look to set up and get a good positioning for their spawns. Someone's still spawning out so far, though. That's Lucky far away from the action. But the rest of his team, they were able to clear it out and secure the spawn point they needed.
And Journey staying alive is big because obviously his teammates needed time to rotate into the kill, but he gets all of the kills. It was like a 1v3 inside for possession, and he gets all of them. He looked like a little bit of a pub for a moment. He was just snapping onto everyone and shutting them down, and this current lead is because of him. Currently in the hill, Yako 3-2. Metal's working on the outskirts back at P1. He's already thinking about the rotation, how he's going to attempt it, but that lead continues to grow. And Lucky with the AR in the back doesn't even need to do his job because Journey and Yako are making it that much easier.
We love an easy job here. Team War leading by 40 seconds now as they get most of P2 and prepare their rotation for P3. Closest one to it will be Metals and Journey taking point. Lucky following up with the support as well. So all their ARs are in attendance. The ARs they need are in attendance, I should say. Yako is still going to be roaming. Watching the flank, he was able to catch one. That was going to be a crucial stop right there that was needed. And it looks like they're going to attempt it again as VQ is still rounding the back.
Time continues to rack up. Wish there was a different way we could kind of approach this hard point, but so far it's really just been all Team War. Mavericks are struggling to get into the point. And this is the situation, right? You come out of the control and you give them this kind of momentum with more time to warm up for Journey and Yako and Metals and Lucky. They can just get on a rampage and roll through games. Uncontested, Eric Boom able to find two again. Super comes in with the cleanup and sub in hand. Super at 3 and 7. So pivotal as an AR, but with that AK-74U right now, you can start picking things up. Sukri thinking about the next rotation. And these are the next couple of hills that Mavericks really need to put their brute force on. Sukri with a big two-piece might be able to do it.
So we saw right there on that hard point, Team War was able to extend their lead to about 70 seconds coming into this next hard point. We had Yako, who was sitting and watching the flank and found 2 kills in a row. almost went on score streaks as he was moving up towards the hard point, but died first. Lucky was the one that was on a 5 streak at the same time, and I think that adding up a little bit of the math right there, you can see why Super up to this point was 3-7. Now evening it up on a 5 streak at 7-7. He's been the reason why his team has been able to put the last 20 seconds on the board for his team. 30 seconds remain. No one on the objective just yet because this territory has not been claimed just yet. Metals still alive, is able to set foot and disrupt it now. So Team War, they start to extend their lead, being the first team to crack that 100-point mark. But with only 10 seconds remaining, all eyes are on the new hill, and scrap time has been awarded to Team War.
It's a full 4-man flush right up mid. Here we go. Everyone from Mavericks running inside, and they all drop. Like, it's so simple. Super's the only one left alive. They're all dead. No one gets traded, and that's the thing. Every time I try to glance over at a gunfight happening on the outside of a hill, it's always Team War walking away with a win. Finally, Victor will respond. Lucky is so tagged up, but buying time for the rest of his team, or I should say only really Journey inside the hill. Free time here. Mavericks put so much effort into breaking on a bull rush right inside the point, and they get nowhere because Journey is 14-8 on a 4 spree. That's 3 more dead. Team War are just manhandling Mavericks.
100-point lead and counting here for the side of Team War, and no one from the side of Mavericks seems to be shooting well enough to stop it. They should be able to get the last bit of the scrap time here because it looks to be locked down tight as Eric Boom and Super still keep their distance from the hard point. We're going to be focused on rotating now as that lead is just, wow. That's a demoralizing one to look at. It's looking more and more likely that we're going to see a Game 5 in this series. And we've said a couple of times, if you let Team War take you the distance, they will take the series from you. 130 seconds is now the time you got to work through here as Mavericks does get the initial touch on the new hard point, but that Team War pressure, what we've seen so far, doesn't let up.
Yeah, and going into this hard point, we weren't asking for Eric Boom or Vicul or Sucre or Super to outplay Team War. We were just asking them to match the slaying, right? Just match what Journey's doing, match what Lucky and Metals are doing. They're not doing it yet, but they can turn it around. There's plenty of time. You just have to start getting more aggressive. You have to start hitting your shots and working together through the team trades. Super's able to put 2 up on the board, and Eric Boom will stay alive in the hill. 8-17, but that can all be wiped away with a couple of hills locked together. Nice shots from Super underneath. Not able to turn on the second, but as he buy time, the communication's there for Eric Boom to clean up the scraps. 13 seconds to go. We have to look at the rotation of rugs. Already there, it will be Sucre. Strongs are back for Mavericks. This is the time to get back in this game.
2 double negative players for the side of Mavericks. We're looking through the eyes of one of them here, which is VQ. Challenged in these ruins here. Yakko's going to dive right into the window, unafraid, and now unbothered as he's been able to take him down. 2 just around the corner. Yakko still remaining aggressive on it. He wants these kills. A little bit of a stun check as he tags one up. I think he's going to end up waiting for some support here. The 2 players from Team War filing in just behind him. And now we see the submachine gun players push through. VQ falls, double kill right there. It's in the hands of the first 74U, but Eric Boom fights back with one of his own and stays alive with the Diamatti now. This lead dwindling as we speak, as Mavericks are able to put so much time on the board, and Eric Boom has come to life in the last 60 seconds.
They're doing right now what Journey was doing to Mavericks in this first hill last time we were here. Metal's going to try to break his way inside. Successful for 1. Won't turn on the second. Sucre going to hit the last 10 seconds. Now kills falling at mid-map for Mavericks. A nice response on those last 2 hills. And really, the slaying has picked up. Can they win P3? That will be the biggest test of this game. This is where the game is decided. If you win all this for Team War, this game's basically done. But for Mavericks, one last more chance is all you have. A collapse inside leads way to a couple of kills for both teams. Yakko gets 2. Super jumps out. Does he buy time, though? Yes, he does. The challenge on Lucky will be successful. Now they need to break, and now they need the time.
250 is the number we want to get to. Team War was able to reach the 200-point mark before Mavericks flipped the hard point back over to them. And we see Eric Boom is on point. He will have trophy system support here soon. VQ's got one of his own. He might have to throw it here if those two players, Metals and Journey, have anything they want to toss into the hard point. But so far, everyone just kind of focused on the gunplay. Headshot right there from Journey to open things up, but the response is still clean from Super with a double kill. Hill control does go over to the winning team, Team War, as they start to push past that 200-point mark. 10 seconds left on the clock. We're going to rotate back to the top center part of the map. And you see Super is already there and in the action. The first player on his team to pass 20 kills. Also with the least amount of time in the hill so far.
Now, the game isn't over, but you need at least 45 or 50 seconds on every single hill here on out for Mavericks if you want to win this game. Team War taking their time on the rotation. One will drop, so it's a 3-4 hit, but still doable. Sucre hitting shots like that. Now you need teammate support to come in and help him out. And there it will be. Eric Boom gets absolutely smoked. Metals will take down Sucre. Too easy. Like a knife through butter. Team War are working their way through the back line. And they're shutting down the setup that Mavericks had. Could you even really call it that if it's this simple to break down? It's just so easy right now for Team War. Finally, numbers fall back in for Mavericks. But is it a little bit too late? Someone is still inside for Team War. They're just getting all the time. No one's contested this. If you're Mavericks, you got to go now.
A really, really well executed pinch from the side of Team War has staggered the Mavericks players. They're spawned up so far apart from one another over and over again on this map, and Team War were able to capitalize that by putting themselves so close to the score limit that we need to reach here. 238, just 12 seconds separating them from victory here, and they already have the initial time. Mavericks, they are falling apart. They are crumbling. They were never able to bounce back after that last play, and Team War ran it all the way home for their victory. We're going to Game 5.
Mavericks had a legitimate chance to chain some of that time together and really bring this game back to a possibility of one final hill. But their setup got absolutely broken through. Like, it just... Journey and Metals and Lucky and Yako just walked their way through the Mavericks' hold on the hill, consistently putting up 2 kills, 3 kills, and taking apart the ARs in the back, taking apart that front subs on the initials. It was so easy for Team War, and this is that part of the series that gets dangerous, man. I mean, Team War find ways. They find ways to stay in games, and when you take them the distance, they just start heating up. And for Mavericks, the key going into this, right, was just to match the slang. Just at least match what Journey and Lucky Metals are doing. Mavericks were not able to do it. Now we got an SCD coming up.
Right. I think that we saw throughout a lot of that game several players on the side of Mavericks double negative, and you have to imagine that if that first half of the game wasn't such a problem for them, that it would have been a more easily handled map, and that we would have been able to see them close it out at 3-1. Nevertheless, Team War holding on strong, just like we knew they were capable of doing. They've certainly gone the distance a number of times on this broadcast in the Call of Duty Challenger Elite Series on more than one occasion. And so as we get into this next map, don't count them out. Do not underestimate them. This reverse sweep is perfectly within their reach.
It's going to be a tall order here. I mean, you go into this S&D, all you need is 6 rounds for both sides. And we saw how Mavericks were able to meet the challenge and the pace change that Team War put on them in that game too. But we get into, again, a moment where Team War have all the momentum right here. And they're not going to let a Ninja Fuse happen once more in round 11. We go to Miami, which is the first time we've seen Miami in Stage 5 so far here on the mainstream. And it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one for Mavericks. I have to think though, with how this series has progressed and how it's kind of drawn itself out, Team War have all this momentum. I don't see how they let that slip by. I see them taking this Game 5, Fox.
Yeah, and if you're Mavericks, you know, you want to take this so seriously, close it out in Game 5. You're just going to end up seeing Team War again when we get to playoffs, most likely, right? This is going to be a team that you see time and time again throughout the tougher stages of competition. And this is your last chance. This is your last chance before we get into playoff, or this is your last chance before we get into the move towards the conclusion of the 2021 season, I should say. Fresh faces on the stream and fresh instances of map and game mode combination. It's been an exciting one so far. Seeing it all the way to its end here at the Game 5.
Predictions going into this, brother? You got Team War. What do you think the score is going to be?
I think we see Mavericks take it. I actually called them to have their 3-0, and now they're letting their lead slip. So I'm looking dumber and dumber as every minute passes. But Game 5, I think this is where they do it. Team War certainly equipped to handle a Game 5 comeback like this, but I'm going to stick true to the initial prediction with Mavericks.
We're casters. We're supposed to look dumb, but I like the confidence. I like the Mavericks call. I think that they can absolutely do it. But I think I'm gonna have to go for the first time. We're gonna have to go the other dial. I'm gonna go Team War. I think they're gonna be able to clutch up. I'm calling maybe like a 6-2, 6-3. At this point, I mean, just with the way that Journey is shooting and the way that Metals and Lucky and everyone on this Team War team are playing, right? Like, it's very cohesive across the board. The synergy is palpable. I just have a feeling they're going to be a little bit clinical in Miami, but Miami can be punishing, especially if the ARs are having a field day. That's where Super has to step up. And once more, going into this game, you need Eric Boom and Vicule to be able to match what Journey does, because Journey's going to hit those flanks. He's going to pull a Kismet and try to work behind you and get you caught off guard.
He will get behind you. He will be annoying and in your face all game long. A persistent problem that needs to be responded to. Or that chronic issue will take over and close this map out. Mavericks, finding themselves on their first offensive round here, will prioritize a beachfront play. Metals is the closest one and the only one in range to make a difference. If he gets taken out here, there won't be a trade, so he needs to come out on top here.
It's a slow creep from Metals, which could really open up the round. I mean, he's going to get a free kill here if he's lucky and takes his time. He will. There's one. First blood for Team War. And all the positioning and the advantage here. This should be a very quick first round, unless somehow Mavericks shoot their way out of this situation.
So Lucky's got someone downstairs, just beneath him on the site. That's VQ on the opposite team, waiting for the opportunity to play around this bomb. Eric Boom is way out in the water with the bomb and can't really get too much closer because of these two ARs watching him. And because of the AR watching him, Lucky and Journey as well on site will keep you at bay. Super finding that kill, thins out the defense just a little bit, and now we're going to start to see them get a little bit more confident on the site. We'll have to watch how it all unfolds as Journey's been waiting patiently for it to happen.
Great shots from Journey. 2v3. Does he know one's around, though? This is so tense as Yako might have the greatest opening. He peeks perfectly. Nice job by Team War. 3v1. Bomb still down. Vicule. Oh, he spotted. Yep, that's going to be around there. And they'll get the defuse. It was only a matter of time, right? Like, he's in an awkward position. There's really nowhere he can play or he's not going to get seen. And Team War, with a first blood advantage, still make it interesting, but they get the round nonetheless.
That went all according to plan to Journey. He was waiting for that opportunity, waiting for someone to get confident, move up on that bomb site, and he got both kills just the same way. So, of course, even though they were getting picked apart here, as you see, Super was able to find that player out on the wooden balcony. It still didn't matter to what was unfolding on site. The Team War players just had A on lock. Excellent crossfire there. I'm looking to see that repeated throughout this S&D, I'm sure.
That was huge in that Apocalypse Hardpoint. The crossfire for Team War was constant on every hill. There's an overhead view of how the round's going to play out. Two-man hit right up the gut. Positioning here for Mavericks. I mean, they are flying into these challenges. Yako has to desperately throw down one. Trophy will buy him some time, but 2 kills to start. Team War getting first and second blood. So the decision from Mavericks to just bull rush does not pay off. Vicule will try to even things out. Now 3v2. Control here in the garage, but bomb has yet to move. Finally, Team War making that call.
Sukri, VQ playing so separate here, and only one of them is super close to the bomb carrier in a potential play. VQ slips behind Journey, who is watching the flank. Catches him as well, so that's a big stop. He can now close in to support his teammate on the A bomb site here shortly, because it sounds like Sukri is going to be in a bit of a Journey position here as he knows the objective is coming and just wants to wait for the free kill. So well played by Mavericks right here, and Metals team and the rest of Team War really just playing with their hand wide open at this point.
I mean, it's a big 1v2 for potential 2-0 lead, but again, clutches are weighted differently, whether it's the first couple of rounds or the last couple. He's just going to stick it. Does anyone peek? Finally, someone will. Thought for a moment there's no chance they just let him sit uncontested on the site. 1-1, Mavericks tie it up.
He was hoping for it. He was like, you know, maybe they'll just give me this freebie.
Saw what they did to them in the round 11 in game 2. He's like, I'm doing the same thing. Just going to go right onto the bomb.
Knotted up at 1-1. Mavericks able to answer back. It was a real tough start to the round there. I think they actually had the man disadvantage for some time, but working it out, they put a round on the board. War, excuse me. And now the offensive side of Mavericks here. VQ will be your bomb carrier. Moving over to the B bomb site. Several players going to the garage will not be met with any defense in the alleyway unless everyone starts to converge from middle map, and it looks like Yako will be the first one to do that. And yeah, you better get to the site here shortly because something's about to unfold on the B bomb site. Mavericks are taking so much time here to check all their corners. That's just going to allow Team War to go into position now. The alleyway is on lock, and it just got a bit more difficult.
Rotating up mid, it's Metals, but first blood once more is Mavericks have the advantage. Eric Boom's going to have to fight something, but just kind of looks at the teammates and says, all right, Metals gets the kill regardless. Post-plant positioning is there for Mavericks. How do you retake care of your war? You're going to have to hope you're able to peel one off towards those water steps. Nice play by Super to try to shut things down, but so far Super is too much to handle. Lucky stands no chance. Mavericks post-plant positioning is awesome. 2-1 lead.
That's right, and we saw Team War, led by Journey in that instance. They were setting up to move towards the bomb site. They were all converging on the entrances and exits of the alleyway. Nobody gets out, right? Everyone that's in there has to stay or go towards the garage away from the bomb site. And we saw Super was perfectly happy sitting there and pre-aiming on his 2 streak at this point. But still, Mavericks were able to fight and survive long enough with that bomb down on site to win it. So Sukri at this point has 4 straight, and his teammates are performing just as well alongside him. It's been a good start for them so far. We're looking through the perspective of Team War, our offensive team, though.
I like these calls that we've seen in both S&Ds for Team War, where they leave the bomb back on a very late rotation. And they basically say we're gonna do a delayed plant, but we're gonna wait and try to see if we can cause a disturbance and bring some attention away from the initial site, and then we'll have you move up. Again, it's not something you see very often, but I love the decision. Now it just comes down to first bloods. So far, Journey working under Piano and Yako at mid-street. Will not catch anyone visitor. Super moves his way to his teammates' positioning. But Journey might get first blood here, and this would open up B.
VQL and Eric Boom are going to need to be activated here shortly. VQL was waiting so patiently for it, and it was rewarded very quickly. That's actually going to send Eric Boom towards the middle of the map for the gunfights unfolding there, and he wins that one before tucking back into cover. Taking down Yako on middle map is so important. Now it's all up to Metals and Lucky, both still on site around Piano and Garage. 2 versus 4. Trophy systems are down on site. VQL's winning that gun engagement in a one-on-one. And Lucky's got 2 players around the corner. He is trapped. It's a tough one to win. Mavericks should be able to close that out with ease.
Turns around, sees someone 30 feet in the air flying at him. Yeah, I'd be kind of terrified too. VQL with a big first kill.
A real threat. This guy's rappelling down from the ceiling.
Look at this.
From the roof.
He just pulled off a Crim 6. Like, my God, that's hard to fight against as VQL gets 2 in the round.
Yeah.
So far, 3-1.
3-1. Mavericks maintain that lead. We're seeing VQL at the top of the scoreboard. 5 kills to his name. Streaks seem to be going for them. Kill streaks in the scoreboard at least. Sukri currently 4-1. 4 rounds played so far, and they've both only died a combined 2 times.
Huge round here for Mavericks. They go up 4-1. You can put this game away. And they've been able to kind of neutralize Journey and Lucky. Lucky at 1-3. Journey has not had as many engagements as he usually does in S&D, as VQL's at 5-1 on 5. Might get close to streaks and how that would change things. In a much slower offensive round, I mean, Mavericks are not moving at all. They are waiting for that first blood, and a slow creep right up through mid. Eric Boom will open it up onto A. Does he know anyone's visitors? Trades start to fall. VQL has a feeling Journey's here, and what a round. Mavericks take their time. They do what they did on standoff, and they have a 3-round lead.
Mavericks is picking Team War apart here in Game 5. It's looking real dangerous for Team War, who have put themselves in these desperate moments time and time again in this series of having to make massive comebacks. The hard point was looking good. They really had Team Mavericks in the palm of their hand all map long, but the search and destroy here is Mavericks, Sukri, and VQL especially just kind of dancing around them at this point.
One more round for series point. And going into this, the momentum was on Team War's side, but calm, cool, and collected, Mavericks are playing it so well. And whatever Team War throw at them, whatever they slow down or speed up, Mavericks have an answer. Now we got a 4 hit for both teams over on B. Quality shots from Yako, but won't clean up the kill. Now you know at least part of Team War are here, which means bomb shouldn't be close behind. Water steps. It's a 3-man hit, but Eric Boom gets the first blood.
And they're making Yako take the fight to them. The team Mavericks decided not to engage on that one, and their patience once again rewarded. They held their position. They played the defense well, and they find themselves at map point. Yako took the bait, came out, and ended up being taken down just that quickly.
Ability just to shake off prior 2 games. I mean, it cannot be overstated enough. how impressive
right.
this S&D has been. I mean, it's you would have thought this was the first S&D of the series, the way the Mavericks are playing this, and they've completely neutralized the X factors in Journey and Lucky. Yak only has 1 kill, but like, Journey, who's usually a menace working from behind, and Lucky, who's shot with the AR, is just disgusting. It's been an impressive performance for Mavericks here in this game 5.
Team War is getting played right now. Mavericks find themselves at map point after 6 rounds of Search and Destroy, with score streaks to play around with as well and more to come. Team War does get the first blood. That's got to be one of the more positive outcomes of the last 4 or 5 rounds of Search and Destroy for them. VKIL 7-1 stays alive and continues that streak. Also fully streaked up in the bottom right-hand corner. 2 to access. It's got a tactical as well, trophy system soon. It's hard to find a way that they lose this round here, even at 3-3. And on the offensive team, I think that the way that Sucre and VKIL are playing, they should be strong enough to close it out.
They obviously don't know where Metals is, but if you know that there's pressure currently inside Piano, they're going to call in that streak just for info. I was expecting him just to hit A and go right up mid-street, but he doesn't want to get caught from visitors. I understand the hesitation. VKIL now in a 2v3. He'll catch Metals rotating. Maybe A's opened up now, but you should know that if you're here, so will Team War.
Crossing the street so boldly, VKIL gets by. Journey from a distance still finishes the job, though. Big stop, big double kill as Team War puts a point on the board. Fighting for their life, letting Mavericks sit at map point in game 5 here. They're looking to complete the reverse sweep, and Journey just inched them ever so closely towards doing it. Still looking scary, though, Space.
Oof. Well, you used partially part of the streak for info, so you can't ping it again, but if you play around A, which is much more open, you have a chance to just kind of, 50-50 guess, and you're probably going to get lucky with at least a tag. So next time Mavericks are on offense, that might be the call, but we'll see what Team War do now with Bomb. Lucky is the carrier, 2-6. VKIL having a great game 5, 9-2. Has streaks to work with. 3 stack for Mavericks, 1 at visitors. But Yakko's working right up Piano. I mean, this is first blood territory for Team War, and he'll get it.
Yakko ends up taking Eric Boom down this time. Last time we saw, he was trying to come up and ended up losing the one-on-one engagement. Instead, he gets that one. And they actually opt not to even challenge him, not even go for the trade. VKIL backing up here. 10-2 now. First player to break double digits in the lobby. He's looking to clear out the garage here, and he's done just that. Bomb carrier still coming, though. More pressure is on the way. Lucky dropping down from up top. Second floor to the ground floor. He finds a kill. Bomb carrier now is going to be Lucky last alive in a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, this is where you bunch up, try to watch mid-street, but also don't get baited towards those water steps. Bomb will go down. 40 seconds to go. This is for the series here. It's going to be a slow rotation for Mavericks. They're going to play together and force Lucky to take them both head-on the challenge. What does Lucky do? A huge round for Team War. Taking their time, Mavericks go.
Do they check this corner? Or do they stick the bomb and pre-aim it? Lucky, will you have an engagement to fight here? A 1v2 or a 1v1? Sucre is able to take him down, and that's going to be it. Mavericks, they close it out in round 8. Game 5, nearly losing the series as Team War were almost able to complete the comeback. An exciting conclusion to the Search and Destroy here, and a stellar performance for several players in blue on Mavericks.
I had predicted a 6-2 win for Team War, but it was actually Mavericks who just had the ice in Game 5. They don't even let the last 2 games get to them. They completely bounced back. They're confident, they're poised, and whatever Team War threw at them, they had an answer to. But that entire game was up to VKIL. I mean, he was, 10-2, 10-3 at some point.
Oh,
had
yeah.
full streaks. The dude went on an absolute tear, and when he stepped up and was able to meet the challenge, everyone else from Team War had to try to counter that. They couldn't. And a nice Game 5 and a good win for Mavericks. That was just an all-around quality Game 5 win, even though the series was a little bit shaky. Allie, welcome back. You were watching that from the sidelines. What did you notice during that series?
The biggest thing that stood out to me from Mavericks was every map that they won, it was because a singular player was kind of dominating the map. A singular player was going off. In the first hard point, VKIL had a very, very hot start. Both S&D, Sucre had just started to go off, and obviously in that last S&D, VKIL stepped up with Sucre as well. And Super in the control, I mean, again, he just completely took over it and got them through more of the series. So Mavericks, a consistent thing for them is they always had kind of the superstar, if that makes sense. They had a superstar in the maps that they were able to take over. And Team War, they looked so good when they started to make that comeback. That was the Team War we were hoping to see most of the series, but Team War just struggles to have that player that really kind of does double than what half of them already do. And I feel like that's kind of the wall that they've hit now.
Well, there's a lot to be proud of for Team War, but also there's always room to improve, and I'm positive they're going to be able to go back to the drawing board and fix some of those small mistakes. But it was an impressive series nonetheless. It went a full 5 games. That means we got to take a look at the schedule for today because we don't know how the rest of these will play out. Rejects V2 versus Orgliss is coming up after this series, and then for North America later tonight, Team Canada versus No One Shoots Back, and UYU versus Built by Gamers to round out the end of the day. And I'm being told that Orgliss just won their current series 3-0 or 3-1, I believe, and they will be playing Rejects. They'll be playing Rejects V2 coming up in just a moment. They won 3-1 against Amelia Strays. So Orgliss continuing to show the dominance that they have in Europe, and the battle for first and second place continues to be so tight in this region, Fox. It always seems like the teams near the top, like the Orglisses, the Amelia Strays, the Elevates, this is going to be the season where we really see those teams solidify themselves, because it's kind of been them the entire year. But Rejects V2 have a chance to kind of spoil some hopes here. Do you think they're going to have what it takes to get it done?
I definitely think so. I think you're on to something there, and I definitely think they have what it takes to get it done. We mentioned the competition in Europe right now. I talked about Elevate a bit earlier, and as they're back in the conversation, we got to talk about how great we expect them to continue to be at Control. I think that when you can own a game mode like that in a series, that's always something you have to rely on, especially that third map, right? Maybe you're about to get 3-0'd, maybe
Sure.
you need to close out your own 3-0. That's just a really important middle point of the series to have under your control.
Yeah, and right now, GCPW and Rejects are currently in Game 5, so we'll keep you updated with that. And Elevate 3-1 Belgium. So, kind of the top dogs here. Orgliss and Elevate handling their business both in 3-1 fashion. GCPW, which was an exciting match yesterday, by the way, are playing in a Game 5 against Rejects. So, Europe is underway here, folks. There's a lot to be excited about currently with this region, and a lot of good Call of Duty still to be played. We got North America coming up later, but next on the docket, Rejects V2 versus Orgliss. Guys, kind of your quick predictions. Allie, who do you see coming out in that matchup? Do you think Orgliss being the #1 team in Europe is going to help propel them through that series?
Or I don't have to say anything else other than Orgliss. I think we're going to have a very quick series on our hands going into our second match of the EU of the day. So I'm 100% 3-0 predicted on Orgliss.
All right, we're going to end the discussion with that. We'll see you guys in just a moment. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Rejects V2 versus Orgliss is next on the main stream. Welcome back, everybody, to Call of Duty Challengers Elite Series, Season 5, Day number 2. We got Europe still up to bat. I'm Spaceman, that is Fox and Alley, and this is the continuation of our start of the broadcast. Europe is still playing their matches, and then later tonight, 5 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have North America getting up and playing some Call of Duty for y'all. But now we got Rejects V2 versus Orgliss. We hope you enjoyed your break. We did as well. Fox, Rejects V2 and Orgliss. Here is the map layout for the series. Moscow, followed by a bunch of Raid and Express. It is a beautiful map pool. This is just wonderful.
I have a feeling you're liking what you see in the middle there, Space. I have a feeling that you like that you get to see Raid back to back to back, a triple threat of everyone's favorite map from Black Ops 2. This is going to be a matchup between Rejects and Orgliss, where we've seen Orgliss really just running through a lot of the competition in Europe. I mean, really just a fierce team, hard to beat. Josh leading them, and just, we see the way that he tweets about what he's working on next for the team, looking for someone to watch over VODs with him and record it and support the team. This is someone that really just has a brilliant mind for the game, and his knowledge only expands after each series.
Allie, I had asked you before we went to break the predictions. You said hot 3-0. Are you sticking by that?
I am 100% sticking by it. The Orgliss that we've seen and versus the Rejects that we've seen, I think the chemistry is just way too much there for Orgliss. I think they play way too well together as a team, whereas Rejects they don't have that same chemistry, they don't have that same repetition, they don't have the same vibe, and I just 100% still think Orgliss is going to take this series pretty easy.
Still getting used to the name Rejects V2. Just saying, Orgliss versus the Rejects is something that's hilarious to me because it just sounds like you're calling them detriments. But you got Raid in the middle, a huge package of Raid Express if the necessary Game 5 is needed. But looking at kind of this matchup here, I mean, the story going in really is Orgliss. They are the reigning champions. They are usually the team that's playing Elevate in the grand final, and Elevate just won their series just a couple of moments ago, right? 3-1. And I spoke to briefly during the break the Team War coach, and I believe Team War is going to play Elevate. So Elevate's trying to catch up to where Orgliss is at currently, and with all these teams fighting for top positions in the bracket, that's another huge one we'll be keeping you updated with. But Fox, looking at this series layout, whether we're talking about specific maps and picks or we're talking about what we expect from key players, how do you think this one's going to go in terms of predictions, but also, what do you think the standouts are here for Orgliss given their recent success in the Elite Series?
Looking at Orgliss, I mean, they have every reason to come into this series fully confident. I think that it's a bit of a mismatch. I don't think that their competition here on Rejects is really going to stand up to much of what Orgliss is able to do. I mean, we talk about them being reigning champions. We can also talk about that just within the last 24 hours, Orgliss was able to take down Elevate, the other top competitor in Europe. Of course, in the middle of the pack right now at 1-1, but this Orgliss team, they come in time and time again, led by Josh, and they're just such a fierce threat that no one has been able to hold a candle to thus far.
Allie, is there a person on Orgliss that you're looking at, or a person on Rejects V2 like Disable or like Hockey that you see and say, okay, this is the X factor here, this is what's going to help decide the series?
Really, all I can think about is the kind of win condition for Rejects V2, and that would be to shut down the duo of Harry and Nasty, which to me sounds basically impossible. Once those two are on a roll together, that is just a force to be reckoned with. And Rejects have a lot of work to do. I think the one thing they might have going against them is I don't believe they've played Orgliss too much. So Orgliss probably doesn't have a whole lot of information on this team either, as we don't as well. So maybe if they come out hot enough, they can catch Orgliss off their feet. But the second that they step back and Orgliss kind of gets back in their rhythm, there's going to be no stopping them.
Well, that's a bold prediction, but I like it. That's what we're all here for. The desk is always giving those hot takes, 3-0s, 3-1s, whatever it may be. Let us know in the comments below, or what is this, YouTube? Let us know in the chat if you think that Orgliss are going to take it, or do you think that somehow, some way, Rejects V2 are going to be able to find a way to kind of cause the upset here? Because in terms of matches on the mainstream, I think it's safe to say this is one that's pretty heavily favored in one direction. Orgliss are the best team in Europe right now, and they've been the best for a couple of seasons. Elevate is close on their tail, so we'll see how those play out. But like you said, Fox, Orgliss took the match over Elevate yesterday, and now if they come in here and take this, they're sitting really nice in that first place spot. We're almost ready to go. I think Sand just gave the thumbs up. So map 1 is about to get underway. You got Moscow Hardpoint up first. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be an exciting one. Fox, I'm just going to ask you this because why not? What do you think the score is going to be at this first map?
A whole lot to a little. I think that we should expect to see Orgliss walk away with this one pretty comfortably. I mean, this is a stellar lineup. Josh goes way back to a lot of the origins of European Call of Duty competition. I mean, Splice, Epsilon. He's really made a name for himself and been a big part of the community, the rising and growing community in the European region.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names here, and we're almost ready. We're almost in. We'll make sure everybody's good to go. But Ali, kind of looking at the series layout, you got Raid as a huge chunk in the middle, and we talk a lot about Raid being the neutralizer and finding ways to kind of slow down games and really favor teams that have the better teamwork. Do you think that Raid being the next 3 maps after this hard point is gonna pay off for a team like Rejects?
I don't know so much if it's gonna pay off, because I think for me, I look at that map and I'm just imagining Steve, imagining Vortex just having his absolute way on Raid. So I don't know if that should be a beam of hope for Rejects or not. Again, we are gonna have to see as we load right into the hard point. We are gonna say goodbye to Spaceman as we go right on board with Stevo. He's gonna make his way towards Escalators currently, as a couple of seconds are going the way of Rejects, but a lot of scrappiness happening on this P1.
And so, Rejects, we got look through the perspective of Connor alongside the Sable. Hawky, his perspective on middle map here with the 74 is so crucial. The initial time going to his team, they've been able to get it uncontested up to this point. Gizmo and Nasty do hop in though. And Harry with the support. At a distance is the Sable with the Krieg, who had to back off of that power position because of how important it is to make sure you have the control for spawns for P2. That's exactly where you want to be. Right where you want to be, Saiyan looking over from up top. He's got the pre-fire with the AK-74U, but it's not quite enough with the double team there, and you can see our observers popping up on screen. Shout out to them, a major part of this broadcast production here, giving you all the action and following the most important perspective from start to finish in this map. We absolutely need them and their capabilities, what they do to follow the action here as best we can. It's a high-paced game, and you see just how quickly Gizmo's going to fall from popping up out of cover. We, of course, get to drop right back to the back line where Harry was able to overlook the hard point as the last line of defense supporting it. Nasty, Stevo, and Gizmo rounding the corner to support the hard point as well, because they've been able to maintain the hill so well here. They're gonna mount themselves about a 30-second lead.
Unfortunate scenes for Rejects, as they did have that early rotation, but Stevo and Harry were just able to push up Street 4-3 as Rejects made a lot of commitment towards that P1 site and allowed them to get spawns in the back for a new Orgliss, now sitting at almost 50 points to Rejects 18. Not only did they get that last couple of seconds, they also are on the rotation once again. That's going to be Nasty and Gizmo all the way in the deep back. Hockey and Disable are here, and they could do something if they get the pick. It looks like he gets eyes on Gizmo, but is unable to shut down the kill. And now all of Orgliss can turn around to flush them out of spawn number 8. That's going to be Harry. He does spawn all the way across the map. He could get timing onto Connor here in Escalators if it works in his favor, and it ends up doing so. No time, though, going to the side of Orgliss as they have yet to touch the point. They are a little too worried about flooding out this Rejects from the spawn point. But again, Rejects, they just haven't been able to clear it out just yet, as they find 2, and some time should finally be going their way.
Saying he's going to fall there. We see Gizmo is going to be the one to do it. Nasty playing his life here alongside Hawky. All kills going for Rejects right now as they're able to stay in this game only just behind Orgliss by about 10 seconds. Still maintaining the hard point. Bit of a staggered push here. Nasty's going to fall alone for sure, but he still comes out with the double kill. Ends up not amounting to much when the Rejects players just spawn up right back on top of the objective. Now it's time to fan out, rotate over towards the street. They will be met by an Orgliss defense. They're certainly prepared for this one. And they want to make sure the submachine gun players are in position to stop Sand from rounding this corner. But it looks like he might catch them off guard. Caught just at the last moment. He still finishes Gizmo up, hopping off of the top of the bus. He cannot take down Harry. We'll get the better of him and maintain control of the hill as we approach our first lead switch. Orgliss taking the lead by a few seconds.
Rejects doing a good job of keeping themselves in this game, as they have managed to get both of their final hills scrap time, and even though they weren't early on rotation, they still are able to break into the hill and piece down Orgliss. Now they are spawning across the map, and if Rejects get a good hold here, they could create themselves a comfortable lead going into the next set of rotations. Orgliss here needs to wake up just a bit. Stevo, unfortunately, is at 4 and 10. A little bit of a slow start out of him, where on the opposite end of Rejects, you have Connor going 11 and 6 and Hockey going 10 and 5. They continue this way, Orgliss is going to have a lot of catching up to do.
That they will. Rejects still fighting this battle. Hawkey peppering shots from a distance with the AK-74U. Excellent support there with this team, but Nasty will be able to respond with a double kill. We've seen 2 of those now as he's been able to overturn or attempt to break hard points with it. Not a whole lot of follow-up there, not a whole lot to come from the play either as he rotate back to middle map. In the point is Harry. Dropping the Semtex just around the corner. He's in a tough spot with the Krieg here. This is not really where you want to be. You typically want to see a submachine gun player fight in this battle, so to catch him with just the worst angle, just the wrong angle, it might be tough. Jumping around the corner, Harry falls. Nasty is over his shoulder, but not in line of sight to support him. So now he will have to take his place, fill that gap, and hop into the hard point. And again, we're seeing Orgliss still working through that deficit. Nasty is trying to prevent them from extending the lead by contesting it, firing the shots he needed to find a big kill to stop it. And now Orgliss, they start to shore it up a bit.
Definitely a little bit of a misplay out of Harry to get stuck in hill on his own with that Krieg, and he does get taken down. And Nasty does try to maybe wipe a couple on the side of Rejects, but it just wasn't enough. 6 seconds on this last P1. A lot of investment out of both sides. The members for Orgliss, though, are going to be out on the rotation. That's going to be Stevo and Nasty. Nasty sitting in hill as always, racking up. He's at 30 seconds currently. If they let him sit in hill and just kind of get his 2 pieces, as he's been doing throughout the game, they could possibly create a lead change here. But Sand slips right on past them. Down 1 with Saiyan watching over his back. That is now 4 down for Orgliss. Rejects are starting to make this look easy when it comes to these breaks. They aren't even having to make that early rotation onto Orgliss because they have been breaking it within the first 20 seconds of this hard point. Orgliss have a lot of ground to cover. They start to funnel in through the mid, scrappy back and forth, but time is still going in the hands of Rejects.
2 fall for the side of Orgliss. Two hopping in the hard point, one's on a 4 streak. That's a scary sight to see. Connor looking to support that player and let them keep going on that streak. Get some streaks going for this outdoor map. 10 seconds remaining on the scrap time. And Connor just wants to stay alive as he's so close to the action and separated from the rest and separated from their person on scrap time. If they die, they have one more attempt, but they're going to have to make the trek all the way across the map. Hawkey 16-9 right now. Of course, we got the 4 streak above him. Rejects looking to mount their next effort towards this next hill. Does the guy play for streaks? No. Saiyan actually ends up falling on a 4 streak. They sent him in first. Harry's score streaks clear out the rest. And now that's just going to be in a much longer hold, extended for the side of Orgliss as they remain behind by about 30 seconds.
Huge investment out of both teams there, but Orgliss ends up on top. What a beautiful call from Harry to get his streaks in right on top of where Rejects were hoping to flood in after calling in their cavalry. And now that all that time is going to go to the side of Orgliss and should tie up the game just about, unless Rejects decides to make that investment onto the last hill, which I'm hoping that they do not do, because if they do, they will spawn across the map and continue to give Orgliss a favorable spot. Though looking to be a one-man RB on the final hill, ends up getting shut down, so that last 5 seconds will go to the side of Orgliss. Now, even across the board, this is going to be a huge hill to decide the race this game.
That it will. Initial time going neither way so far. Stevo trying to get the right position to hold it down, but he will be met with all of the onslaught coming from outdoors. We need some trophy system support here soon. Disable setting it up for the opposite side for Rejects, but it ended up being too late. He's taken down in the middle of the animation, and now it's up to Connor here, who has to wait patiently, trying to catch Harry, tapping him on the edge of his cap. Not able to finish the job, though. As you can see, we see Stevo watching the vent. If he stands up, he's cut in half just that quickly. Connor, again, waiting for support. He really can't make many moves to get onto the hard point here. He just has to watch Orgliss pull ahead in this lead by 10 seconds and counting. Hill is still in their control, even as players fall around it. But Rejects clearing them out now in that last wave. They're all spawning up on street and still fighting for the scrap time. But the rotation for the majority of the players has already begun. Moving back towards middle map is Saiyan, Hawkey, and Disable. They're set up so well. Street should be on lock. No, they will all have to funnel in through middle map, and that's just easy pickings for Hawkey.
Although the hill was in control of Orgliss, it seems like there was a good chunk of time there that nobody was really touching it. Orgliss was kind of sitting back in bus and getting the kills onto Rejects, but I wonder if the miscommunication there is nobody was sitting in gathering the time. But as we move on to our next hard point, Orgliss do end up clearing out Rejects from the P1, and not only that, they are able to push through and secure spawns for P1, although it is only Stevo in the back. He has a very important gunfight to win against Saiyan here. As he makes that challenge, it actually gets dropped, so now it is all up to Gizmo, who has tried to make his way up street. Hawkey is going to be behind him though and should find the free kill. Gizmo flips right by and is able to stay alive in back apartments, but he does have 2 players on the hunt to hopefully clear him out. He will have helps here soon as the rest of his teammates are pushing up P2 Street and have one on P1 gathering the rest of the scrap time.
Big stock, Hawkey, they're certainly hunting for you right now. He finds that first kill. Nasty was right on his trail, taking him out. Backline's clear, set up for the rest of Orgliss to maintain spawns and hold down P2. And again, we see them right now with about a 20-second lead. A lot of pressure coming up on street. That's Hawkey and Connor. The initial time going to Orgliss, and they're looking to disrupt it. This is their first attempt so far successful as they find 2 straight. No response from the defending team as they just continue to extend their lead in the hard point. Cleared out now. It's just the back line that remains. Pick out the remaining players. Harry turns on him for the double kill. Big stop right there from Harry. And now look, the white arrows are all right where he needs them to be, supporting him for the objective again. If Harry dies right there, which he should have, that's a turnover in favor of Rejects.
Absolutely. Harry might have just saved the game there, as Disable getting that kill inside the range should never have gotten both of them. So Harry really saved them by answering with his own 2-piece. And now they are about to break the 200-point mark and have a 50-point lead on top of Rejects. However, we are moving on to a money hill that Rejects have already gained spawns for and are already in sit and wait for Orgliss. However, we've seen them break this before, as players 6 and 5, Gizmo and Stevo, are going to get met with saying, they know somebody's got to be in here. The trade has to go through. Gizmo shuts him down, and now the gunfights in the front are as well going in Orgliss's favor. Rejects are going to have to get a clean wipe here if they want to hold on to this time.
Nearly 30 kills on the side of Orgliss. That's a contribution from Harry, but on the opposite side, we have several players on Rejects in their mid-20s at this point, and taking control of the hard point to try and to try and extend this game a bit further, as Orgliss did hit the 200-point mark. On offense here is Gizmo just outside. He can't even get into the action yet without support, and the rest of his team able to find the kills they need to turn the hill over. Again, 40 seconds separate them from victory. They can't win it on this hard point, but this is an important chunk of time. It's going to make the rest of this map just that much easier for them. They're already beginning to contest on street here, and Harry's right where you want him with the Krieg.
Very unfortunate. All of Rejects spawn deep across the map. So not only did the last 20 seconds go to the side of Orgliss, we also have the prime position to make that early rotation. Nasty finds 2 of his own, but Rejects still finding their way into the street hill. All of Orgliss, though, are here. It's going to be a very scrapple couple of gunfights as Gizmo opens it with 1 on Connor. Nasty finds 1 on Disable and 2 on the side of Stevo. That is a full wipe on Rejects. They have 20 seconds to get Orgliss out of this hill if they don't want to lose this first map, but was a very close game. Suddenly looking like it's all in Orgliss as they all started to fall into place.
Ali, 5 seconds and counting. This is Rejects' last chance to get on the hard point, but they're too busy getting mowed down by the front line. Gizmo with the double kill to seal the deal, and Orgliss, they get game 1.
I definitely thought it was a little bit of my caster curse there, as Rejects really did come out with quite a showing right in the beginning. I mean, they kept the game pretty close, but after those last couple, after that P2 hill, I mean, it was all Orgliss, and that was kind of all she wrote, as Orgliss just continued to run with it. And even though they only got that last 20 seconds, that's all they needed to basically close out the game, 230 to 177. They get to that street hill. I mean, all of Rejects, what can they do when they're spawning across the map and running into the pre-fire of, an AR like Gizmo, and you have Nasty and Harry pushed up close together on the street, getting each other's trades. Stevo's finding 2 pieces like that. I definitely thought we saw the Orgliss there near the end that we should have seen the entire game, and maybe that was just them happening to warm up.
I think you're onto something there. I certainly noticed a change in the play of especially Gizmo. I saw that there were so many situations where he had to wait. He had to be rewarded for that patience as he waited for his teammates to line up and support him in breaking hard points. We also got to talk about Harry, nearly 30 kills, extending himself beyond many of his teammates for good portions of that game. While the other team, Rejects, they had 3 of their 4 players that were over 20 kills at that stage of the game. So when you look at the fact that they had a lower kill count for that game and how close the score was, you really got to credit those streaks coming out of Harry, but the very timely and opportune decisions that came from Gizmo.
Absolutely, and I do want to talk a little bit about Rejects able to keep it that close against arguably, the best team in EU. So for them to keep it that close, I almost kind of changed my prediction in my head a bit. I thought, maybe they could do something here. Maybe they come out hot in this hard point, take it up 1-0 in the series, and then just kind of rock and roll through the rest of it off that momentum. But Orgliss obviously proving that they have the composure to just flip the switch. I mean, once they started to get warmed up, once they fell into place, I mean, there was no hope for Rejects. There was no stopping them. But I do want to talk about Disable and Saiyan. I mean, they were still doing stuff on the map time and time again. I feel like I saw Saiyan in a position where he got the 2 pieces to kind of save his team and keep them kind of into that hard point. And they were keeping it close by just getting scrap time. They weren't winning early rotations. They weren't rotating early, but they were breaking into the hill against a team like Orgliss. So definitely some hope for them, but I'm still going to keep my prediction going into this raid S&D. Orgliss, I'm expecting Harry and Nasty to just completely shut it down very early and very quickly.
And I think you touched on it very well there about the way that the hardpoint was being played on the side of Rejects. The early rotations were not there. Orgliss was all over it. But I think that there's still a lot to be said with the pressure that the side of Rejects was able to keep up on them, especially when we look at those street hardpoints. That's where they got a good chunk of their time. We saw on the middle of the map, I think it was Hockey and Saiyan, as you mentioned. They were always in the action. You would always see them in the action, the kill feed, delivering some damage. So I think that's something that's going to be crucial for Rejects and their success going forward. Those are some tools they have in their tool belt. It just needs to have a bit more polish. There needs to be a bit more order in their play. Because right now, Orgliss, they're going to win that war of attrition. They got you beat on strategy, I think. What do you think, Allie?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Again, Orgliss have been just playing together so well and for so long, and they just kind of have that on top of Rejects. And one thing I really have on this team is that I know they made a very long losers run in qualifiers, so they've been in this position before. They've been down and out before, and they've had to kind of crawl their way back in. So I don't want to count them out just yet. And S&D happens to be sometimes a flip point for some teams. You know, some teams just happen to be better at search and destroy than they happen to be at the respawn. So as we load right in on board with Nasty, we'll be keeping our eyes out for Rejects, but already some shots going through from Connor as he sees all 4 members of Orgliss making their way towards the A site.
At a distance, Connor in the back rocks. He's going to back off of that engagement after getting tagged up by Nasty. Circle and laundry control completely awarded to Orgliss, who will plant for this side, meaning that they will maintain control of laundry and hold off the offensive front that will be coming, the front that will be coming from the defense. Players 6 and 7, Hockey and Connor. Oh, Hockey knows that there's just danger around this corner. Turns, loses, 2 people firing on him. Orgliss had that figured out from start to finish.
That was probably one of the cleanest rounds of Search Destroy I've ever seen. Nasty gets onto the bomb quick. He realizes there's no contesting. His teammates are already set up into the spawn. He quickly lays bomb, and he already has a free pick on the Saiyan there as we watch the kill cam now, and he just backs up. He helps his teammates, gets the angle on the bomb. Nobody from Orgliss, I think, even fell in that Search and Destroy round, so already the pace of this game is all in favor of Orgliss.
Laundry completely given up. No utility used to try and get them out of their setup. We just saw everyone lose one-on-one engagements as the bomb site was completely free for Orgliss to set up as they pleased. Nasty on a 2 streak. Also the person that planted the bomb, finding that first crucial kill, stopping the flank at top art, which if he loses that gunfight, that completely dismantles their setup. Definitely need to keep that one in mind. Now, the offensive attempt coming from Rejects, they will favor the A site. They're also awarded the setup on the laundry side of the map. The difference being this time is that Orgliss does have a player alive on middle map. Do they opt to send him through art, just like what we saw in round 1, or does he check the bomb before it's planted? It will go down at A, and again, Steve-O is the closest one to the site, but the rest of the action is happening back laundry. You're looking through the eyes of Hockey right now, who's defending most of it, but Harry and Gizmo pulling heads off shoulders. They will fight for control of laundry and get it just like that.
Rejects trying to pull a little bit of a one over on Orgliss to kind of do the same thing, but we see Gizmo stretching the bomb already and no hesitation. Disable's going to peek it, but not in time as that is the defuse gone and out. Orgliss now go up 2-0 in the series, and they're just making it look easy. Rejects, they wanted to also do the quick plant onto A, but the aggression out of Orgliss to just 3 push mid and kind of make their presence known, I feel like kind of spread apart Rejects to kind of make them panic for a hot second, so caused 2 players to back up more into their spawn and play it a little bit slower, and then kind of hope for that retake on the A site, which by that point Orgliss was already pushed up. Harry and Gizmo find the 2 pieces. Steve-O does get caught out in mid, but he finds one before he drops, and then again, and at the end allows the bomb to get defused. Harry 3-0 on a 3 spree. Nasty 2-1. Orgliss looking fantastic in this S&D thus far.
2 rounds played, and Orgliss has won both their offense and defense. Harry is unkillable so far. He's also a big part of why they were able to maintain their setup in the first round to win it. We see Steve-O getting the first blood for his team here, and a flank is unfolding. We'll see if it's successful this time. Saiyan's going to be the one to do it again, but Steve-O is already on the lookout for it, wrapping all the way back through Barrage to stop this one, as the bomb has been planted on the B bomb site. You got one in Tiki. You got two in Bedroom. It's going to be so difficult for Saiyan to get out with his life here. And the two guys playing on site, good luck.
Sand thankfully finds one to even it up 3v3, but I mean, Bomb is planted and they have the angles. A lot of work here to be done by the side of Orgliss, but Sand finds another one, but Gizmo answers back to one of his own. 15 seconds on the clock. Bomb needs to start getting disabled. It is all up to Harry. If anybody's going to do it, it will be him. Bomb is on the defuse. Harry finds one. He's going to find the second. Where were you looking? Rejects. Orgliss go up 3-0 as Harry clutches the 1v2. Rejects, they just look lost on the map. I mean, all of Orgliss push towards that B site and send one towards A, and I mean, it just made it look easy. I mean, Steve will be able to turn and get back on to Hockey and no contest. That should never happen for free on Circle. I mean, he threw the nade. The teammates on Reject should have had the information that he was there, and he just didn't turn and look. It was just a free kill as he got shot in the side. So Harry now on a 5 streak, nowhere close to streaks, unfortunately, in S and D, but nonetheless, an insane stat line to have in the beginning of this game.
That's absolutely right. And what we saw last round was the flank. The second attempt from Saiyan to run that flank through middle map was successful on an individual level, and he was able to come and support the bomb site, but everything crumbled once they actually got to pool side. Once they actually got to where the action was happening with the objective, Orgliss just came together. They had the post-plant positioning and played it to a T. Now we see an offensive attempt from the side of Rejects, and it starts off with a first blood from Disable with 60 seconds to go in the round.
A little bit of a predictable play out of Rejects is actually ending up to work in their favor as all 3 players of Orgliss do get taken down. Harry left on his own, and a 1v4. Bomb does get planted. If he could isolate a couple of gunfights here, it's definitely possible, but all of the players of Rejects are starting to collapse into him. There should be a straight out, even though he finds one. Rejects finally put themselves on the board 3-1.
So Rejects, they stopped the bleeding after 3 straight victories from the side of Orgliss. Very quick, decisive rounds too. Seems the strategy for Orgliss so far isn't working to a T. Unfortunately, that is the first round that Harry dies. The first one that Rejects win. Taken off of his streaks, but starting this round does have access to full utility. We see the guys on Orgliss are going to be prioritizing the A site with all 4 players, losing the crucial gunfight off the start. Disable finds another first blood, or at least in the first wave of kills. He finds one early in the round and maintains the top laundry position. Steve-O looking for the flank. Connor just behind him. You're supposed to help him out. You're supposed to be support. But now Steve-O is going to be a big problem for Disable to deal with. Did he get turned on, or was he shot from Circle? Okay, shot from Circle. That was not a drop shot turn on.
Steve-O pushes that just a little bit quicker and also gets the guy in window right before he takes down Harry. Maybe a little bit of a different situation, but Rejects, incredible reaction time as the aggression of Orgliss. I mean, they just immediately challenged Circle and immediately went for those long-range gunfights, and Rejects were able to react accordingly, even with Hockey going 0-4. So, wonder what would happen if he starts to step up just a little bit, Saiyan 5-3, doing what he can for his team. But again, Connor Disable 4-4, even across the board. They're definitely trying to crawl their way back into this as they're pushing the bomb through mid site very aggressively.
4 straight through mid. Looks like they want... Oh no, they're backing up from Kitchen here, but they do leave one in the corner. That's Saiyan, always playing on the flank. That must have been part of the play call there, is for him to maintain middle map. They do cut back through the driveway towards Circle for the A site play. One is top laundry, and one at a distance is Gizmo hopping over the hedges to try and get a line of sight. Hockey with an AK-74U will not be able to do much about it at this distance, so he's just playing for information. That's what the van windows are for. Connor is able to take down Nasty, and I think that's the play that they were waiting for. It's time to get activated here and take out the next one that replaces him, because Gizmo is top laundry.
Huge kill out of Harry to get him off a bomb. Now Bomb is down and out onto the A site, while Steve-O and Harry are just making noise mid and getting free kills. Connor, though, at 6-4 now, one-man army here in mid, picking off as many players of Orgliss as he can. 22 seconds on the clock. Huge snap onto Harry. That should be able to let them get the bomb down. It should be a win, but Steve-O gets the kill. Now he is in a 1v1 bomb down. Hockey is 0-4. He needs to find his first kill in this round if he wants to secure it and tie up the game for Rejects. Hockey's going to get the free kill on Steve-O as he is not looking in that direction. Rejects, with 3 rounds in a row, able to tie up the search and destroy and pull the pace back into their favor.
Yeah, you were looking to see Hockey get his first kill on the board there in that round. As we saw Laundry control, oh so important on the A site. The play was unfolding as Hockey was playing for information in the window. SMG in hand, just kind of shoulder peeking, looking at the player closer to rocks. And now the result of that is going to be a tied up game. Knotted up at 3-3. We've had 6 rounds so far of Search and Destroy, and Harry is 8-3. He started off the game with a streak. He's been a little bit quieter since then, but it's now becoming a more well-rounded performance from the team. Unfortunately for them, Rejects are also starting to bounce back. Hockey taken down early. That's going to be from Harry and Nasty. And Disable up top. He's getting overwhelmed and pressured, and he still ends up finding a kill, but not without his life being taken from him. Steve-O survives that engagement. 3 versus 1 now, and it's just saying on middle map.
Again, if you could isolate these gunfights, he might stand a chance, but we all know Orgliss plays for trades. They will always push out together. As he now, as we're watching, gets collapsed on by 3 members of Orgliss, and they finally get around to break the 3 streak from Rejects. Interesting statistic I would like to talk about is Connor, on the side of Rejects, have gotten first blood on Nasty, I believe, 2 or 3 rounds in a row that they had gotten on their side. So this time, Harry and Nasty were able to shut down Connor and I believe Disable very, very quickly, and that's what ended up giving them that control and giving them that round win. And I wonder if it's going to end up coming down to the first bloods between the two, because if Connor continues to shut down Nasty, that's one half of the scary duo of Nasty and Harry down. So Rejects, if they can continue to do that, they might be able to push themselves back into this game.
Steve-O diving right into the mix. Lots of support over his shoulder as Gizmo and Nasty find 2, and he's able to get the 3rd. Disable all alone. You are trapped and stuck. Orgliss at map point now. Very quick conclusion to that round as they decisively force the issue through Circle. They challenge it. They do not give up Circle and Laundry this time. And running straight into Art. Look how fearless Steve-O was. Ready to challenge this one as he was abandoning that power position after losing his teammates.
I regret saying what I just said. I regret having the hope for Rejects, as Orgliss very quickly have flipped the switch and turned this game back into their favor, as they are now into match point to go up 2-0 in the series. Orgliss are just playing so aggressive right now and getting into the faces of Rejects and just not giving them any time to think or react. Bomb is making its way towards the site and already looking probably for a big plant. Rejects get the information of it now, as they all have to wrap back spawn and hopefully get some basketball court control. But Steve-O, being the S&D players that they are going to stretch this bomb in their favor and back all the way up, as none of them end up falling and they get the plant for free.
We saw Steve-O risking his life there, diving into the water to try and plant that bomb. Ended up having a bit of support over his shoulder. Will it be enough? Still yet to be seen. 2 versus 3. We got Gizmo top bedroom with the AR. Connecting with enough shots at a distance to make a difference here, but he needs some support from Harry on the flank. One more on site, one just ahead of you. How will you turn this corner? He ends up turning it into 2 different players, and now Rejects. They end up getting the retake, staying alive in this S&D as they defuse the bomb. 9 rounds of Search and Destroy played. We have Orgliss at map point, 2 of their players at double-digit kills. But Rejects, they're still holding on to this one, Allie. They're trying to extend this game.
I completely agree, and I almost wish Harry there, instead of taking that short route, I understand the bomb could have been hopped on already, but if he had gone that garden long way, he might have gotten the angle on Connor before he turned the corner, and then possibly gotten the kill on the Hockey for the 1v2 clutch up. But 5 and 4, they're still in match point favorable position. Steve-O is 10 and 6, Harry is 10 and 4 as well. Nasty has 3 objective on his belt, and Steve-O has 1. So not only is he killing everything on the map, he's also getting that bomb down. A little bit of a mirror play on Rejects here, as they're looking to quickly plant on the B site as well, as Orgliss had just hit. But Saiyan with the bomb is just looking to push through the spawn of Orgliss. He thinks better of it, though, as we should see it go down here pretty soon, as Orgliss is starting to kind of collapse onto the site with Rejects.
First blood. Bomb can go down any second. There is someone creeping up in the basketball court. That was Harry, but he was shut down before he could make a difference. Now, it's Nasty in a 1 versus 4 with the bomb planted. And you have to imagine that Rejects takes this one and forces us to round 11. That will not stop Nasty from trying, though. He finds the first kill before being answered. And here we are. Round 11 in game 2. Rejects has been able to fight their way all the way back. A lot of these victories from the side of Orgliss, the round conclusions have happened in under 20 seconds. And we still see that happen even as we get to the later stages of the game.
I mean, we are now going to round 11, which we expect from some of the top teams in U. But Orgliss, I feel like there's been a lot of little slip ups that they really shouldn't be in this round 11, this S&D, with some of the rounds that they've been playing. Getting into Reject space and just taking rounds very quickly and easily. Where it feels like Rejects have kind of been having to crawl their way back into it. But Bomb is going to be making its way towards the A site, where Orgliss will be able to answer Sand. No answers with the first blood, but Stevo quickly gets that trade. Now that is two down on the side of Rejects. Bomb has still yet to go down on A site, and Disable and Connor are just kind of left out in no man's land by the circle. Number 4 Harry is across the map, so technically it is a 2v2 on the A site. 50 seconds on the clock. If they wanted to rotate, they could, but I don't know if I agree with this play out of Connor here. He has completely separated himself from Disable. They're going to isolate all their gunfights, and he's going to get punished for it as Gizmo takes him down. Bomb now on its own on circle. 3v1 Disable. There's only so much you can do with 30 seconds on the clock and still needing to get the bomb down.
The two remaining AR players were Connor and Disable, and Connor ended up walking away from Disable, who stayed put at circle, trying to make a play on middle map, and ended up losing that gun engagement. So now it leaves the bomb carrier last alive in a 1v3. Round 11. 20 seconds on the board. He's going to be stopped just that easily, and Orgliss take it in round 11 to go up 2-0 in the series.
Although series count 2-0 is exactly as predicted for Orgliss, the game count is a little bit more of a storyteller than that. For it to be a 6-5 S&D of Rejects versus Orgliss, definitely not what I expected. And one thing I wish that I feel like that Orgliss caught up on with Rejects is Rejects constantly mirrored the strats that Orgliss kept playing. Orgliss takes the bomb onto the P side on the offensive. You can bet the next round Rejects are basically going to be doing the same thing, as they had done that many times. So definitely a little bit of a scrappier S&D than we expected, but the result comes out the same.
Yeah, and I think you put it perfectly, is that it's a 2-0 lead right now for the side of Orgliss, but there's more of a story to be told here. There were some shining moments coming from Rejects where it seemed like the AR players were able to hold their own and keep things together, and AR players and Saiyan, I should say, at times. But still, Orgliss, they're just the more well-polished team. They had those quick, decisive rounds where, Harry went unkillable for the first several rounds of this Search and Destroy, and I think that coming into this control, I think that we see the more mature and grown team of Orgliss to come out on top once again for the 3-0 victory.
Yeah, and I feel like Rejects definitely had a couple of moments where, their retakes, looked a lot better than what we would have expected. But Orgliss, again, the way they play S&D is just so beautifully done. And some of the rounds that they were taking were just done so quickly. They immediately got in the face of Rejects. They played that aggressive game. And that's what I'm hoping to see coming out on the controls. I hope Orgliss continues to be incredibly aggressive and shut down Rejects. Because Rejects, they've been showing life. And should they kind of put a stop to Harry and Nasty and kind of put a stop to that aggression that gets up in their face and answering back with it, Rejects could easily flip the script. Again, I know Sean talks about this a lot. That control can be a little bit of a flip when it comes to a series. Obviously, it is do or die for Rejects, but it is control, and it could be a little bit of a series reset. As well as I want to ask you, I know Sean, again, he loves Raid, and he thinks that it could kind of be a bit of a series changer. Do you share the same sentiment?
I think it's just one of those things that everyone's so comfortable going back to. You look at other titles and franchises that have maps that have stood the test of time, played by generation after generation of gamer, and for us, Raid is that map in Call of Duty Black Ops, and from Call of Duty Black Ops 2 now to Call of Duty Cold War. So I share the same sentiment in the idea that, like, it's a moment where you can feel refreshed, you could feel like it's a nice reset. I am kind of curious as to how different that might be, though, in situations like these where we have a triple threat of Raid, right? You're already down 0-2. You don't want to go right back to the same map that has already dug you into this situation.
As we do have three raids back to back. So should Reject survive through this control, they're going to have to get right back into the raid blender that is the 3 we have in the middle of our series here. But again, I know I've talked about my predictions. I still think it's going to be Orgliss through and through. And I wonder, do you have any counter? Do you have any underdog predictions, or are you just in the same boat as me, where Orgliss is just...
you're being real realistic about it for a good reason. Orgliss should take this. I think that everyone watching up to this point can see that Orgliss is in a great position to close out the series. Again, we are mentioning the signs of life that Rejects have been showing. There were moments in that search and destroy where the guys were able to clutch up, come together, but still Orgliss, they had those stellar post-plant positionings that they're just used to running over and over again as their routine, and it clearly put them over the edge in this search and destroy. The hard point as well, early rotations, just that kind of structure and discipline is what is going to put Orgliss in the victory, or bring Orgliss victory here in this third map too.
It's always funny because the Orgliss has such high expectations for being our reigning champs. So when we look at them and look at them on paper and we expect them, to just stomp most of the teams that they have to be going against. So when we kind of give them a little bit of negative feedback, but like, oh, you definitely could have taken that in more of like a 6-0 fashion, but whatever, got the win nonetheless. I always think that's funny because, we have to be hard on them. They set the bar very high for themselves, being one of the better teams. So of course we're going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, you're 2-0 in the series, but you could have done it a little better.
Right. The question is, how are they going to win this game? Right? Not will they? And so I think that so far Orgliss, they've shown no reason for us to believe otherwise. I mean, it's a great team. They come out time and time again for the Challenger Series for Europe, and it's a name without a name. It's a name without an organization that you will recognize if you watch this region of Call of Duty playing. Big shout out again, once again to Harry and Nasty. They've been contributing in a big way in this series. Do you have, Ali, anyone that you want to credit in this series so far as to what maybe brought us to that round 11 search and destroy?
I want to talk about Gizmo a little bit in the earlier of the series where he kind of lit up at the end of that hard point, and that's somebody that, I feel like we don't shout out his name too much, but behind the scenes at the end of the day, you always got to have that player watching over you, and they're always doing stuff that maybe, we as casters and observers don't really see, because, sometimes all we can look at is, oh my god, Nasty and Harry are getting like 3 pieces inside of the objective. And also, we want to talk about Steve-O being kind of the man with a plan, especially when it comes to search and destroy. So across the board, that Orgliss team, each individual player talented, but together, just gross chemistry across the board. And for Rejects, I've talked about Sable and Saya, and they seem like only a little bit of lights of hope for that roster thus far. That, we've seen them get a couple of 2 pieces and a little bit of pace changing objectives when it comes to this series, but nothing really to write home about just yet. Rejects, and credit to them for keeping it close against the best team arguably in EU, but they still have a lot of work to do, and the time is running out. We are in our last season. We are having a playoffs up and coming, so Rejects have a lot more to fix if they want to make a bigger run in EU scene.
Yeah, we got to be real here. It's a tough matchup. You're punching against a different weight class right now. Orgliss, they're coming in confidently. They're up 2-0. They're looking to finish out the series just as quickly as they did several of those search and destroy rounds that gave them the early lead in game 2. This is just a confident and well-positioned team to come out on top here. Rejects, of course, one of our newer additions to the Call of Duty Challenger Series here in Season 5. But the names, you've seen them time and time again. Hockey, actually, we talked a little bit about Josh earlier, one of the former players here for Orgliss. He actually teamed alongside Hockey previously on some of those teams that I talked about, Splice, Epsilon. They've both had their time on those organizations. And they've really made a name for themselves here in Call of Duty Esports. So you got to respect the competition. You got to respect these people that show up time and time and again to entertain us with their performances that they're putting on the line for tens of thousands of dollars here. Once again, I'm sure we'll be able to take a look at the prize breakdown later on, but this is a big competition, and we're coming up on their last chances here we're coming up on their first few attempts here at getting into a good position for playoffs for Season 5, Ali.
Please don't mind me. I'm trying to kill this gnat that has been bothering me for the past week. But I do want to talk about the prizing, actually, because there is a lot of money on the line. And as we look at it, first place, that is $20,000 that these players are playing for. And honestly, that makes my heart pound just thinking about it. I can't imagine the players in these series being, of course, down 0-2 with this amount of money on the line, Fox.
Yeah, that's the money up for grabs, the glory to accompany each and every one of those positions. Even just to get to this point in Call of Duty Challengers, a lot of these guys have been playing in this series, in this circuit, since the season started way back in February. Everyone at home, you've been able to follow the action with us all winter, spring, and summer long, still in the midst of it, of course, as we get to our playoffs later on in July here. So, looking for that number 1 spot. You want that big 20 grand. These guys are no stranger for playing for this kind of money. They just need more of it.
Absolutely, and as we try to get our players into the game currently, sorry about that as the wait, but rejects, I think something that we talk about EU is there isn't a lot of roster changes. There isn't a lot of flippity flop as we see in the NA scene, and when it comes to a team like Rejects, it's a little bit unfortunate because I think about rosters like this, and sometimes you can have a bunch of talented players on a roster together, but it doesn't always mean that they'll play well together. It doesn't always mean their play styles are going to mesh just right, and I feel like that's a struggle most of challengers have in this scene. Is it's really hard to make a team that plays well together. Sure, you can have all the best players together on the same roster, but it doesn't mean the roles are going to check out together. And I want to get your thoughts on if you think maybe that's something that's happening to this Reject team. Maybe they're all just very talented players individually, but they're just not meshing that well together.
I think that you can point to that same example when we look at what's happened to Easter, right, and Wester. These teams that have crumbled, and we've seen the bits and pieces get spread out to other rosters in the North American region. Of course, we're talking about Europe right now, but again, like when you get these guys that you think are all fierce competitors, top competitors, real strong guys, for some reason things could just not click and they could fall apart. They don't mesh well, and they'll have issues. Now, of course, we don't know whether or not that's what's happening with Rejects. Day 2 of Stage 5 of Season 5 here for the Call of Duty Challenger Elite Series. Want to give them more time to get together. They're also going up against reigning champions, some of the best out here. So, what a day 2 to have, right?
Absolutely, and I guess we can start expanding, talking about some of our other EU teams here as we wait to load right into this match. Our top 4 for me kind of feels like it's been a little solitary. I don't feel like there's been a lot of changes through some of our teams, and that's something we don't see usually, at least on the NA region. The NA region, you can always have those underdog teams that kind of come out and start smashing our top 4s, and I don't feel like we've seen that too much in the EU scene. They've been pretty calm and collected with who their top 4 is, and who's going to kind of be at the end of our playoffs here, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because you want that exciting, you want to cheer for the underdogs, you want them to kind of come out on top and be a team that you didn't expect to happen. And speaking of that, actually, as we were talking about some of our 4 teams, Team War actually ended up 3-0ing Elevate, as I've just been told in my ears, which is very shocking after we saw them earlier today fall out. So for them to come out hot, they definitely have a fire lit under them.
Yeah, and we talk about the strongest teams in Europe, and we of course jump straight to Orgliss, the reigning champions. We talk about Elevate, but we also have to talk about Team War and the fact that they constantly go toe-to-toe with them. They will extend the series. You cannot count the Spanish team out at all. I know they got coaches working with the roster as well, Magic, looking over and combing over all of their gameplay and filing through every decision, trying to refine it to the best of their ability. And I think that it shows up, especially when we look at the coordination that teams like War are able to pull out and search and destroy. But that 3-0, that means they got them in the control on Elevate, and that's something we typically praise them for.
Absolutely, and so Team War not trying to be down and out yet. Rejects hopefully having the same fire under them as your kill feed lights up white already in this control. Orgliss looking to make this a very clean sweep of Nasty immediately on a 2 spree, just absolutely taking a power position in mid.
Not the best Semtex right there. Of course, Detonation going to take Nasty out, but Gizmo and Harry are still alive and trying to make a difference. Connor alive on the point here. They're looking to capture the first tick. There is a pinch setting up here. Player number 7, Gizmo, coming from Art. I don't think anyone's tracking this one, so that should be the end of this push. Oh, nearly turns on him there. Gizmo with 2 headshots for a double kill before being traded out. And we see Saiyan staying alive on middle map. This has to be his favorite part of Raid. We always see him working through middle map, keeping his feet moving as a submachine gun player should. That kind of activity is what you want to see out of Saiyan.
Gizmo is with a hot start, and Nasty at 5-1. Nasty already on a 3 spree once again. 28 seconds on the clock. Rejects was able to get 1 tick on the A site, but now you have all the players of Orgliss pushed up in your spawn. It's all going to be up to Connor. He is the closest. He's going to get on that point to stop the time for now, but you can already see the players of Orgliss, Gizmo, and Nasty making their way towards the A site to hopefully clear it out.
Hockey staying alive, tossing the Semtex right onto the van for his kill. Disable with a double kill as well. Over the shoulder should ease some of that pressure. Saiyan, as usual, holding it down on middle map. A crucial kill to have on Kitchen there to prevent anyone from stopping their rotation here as the team starts to flood through Kitchen in their attempt of taking B. But you see the defense holding pretty strong up until Hockey and Disable come through to make a difference. 4 streak. from Disable as he finds himself at 5-5. No utility though, so if he's going to survive here, it's got to be all gun skill. Behind enemy lines and outnumbered, Steve-O will be able to take him down in money as they clear out their base. And now it's time to trust the reset. Get up to that middle point of the map and get ready to defend B.
Dang, Harry was pushed up playing so patient in reject spawn, just trusting his teammates to get those wipes, and he ended up getting taken down for free and doing virtually nothing. So Orgliss are up in lives 12-8, but if Rejects gets one good wipe here and holds that defensive on B, that could be a round going in their favor. Orgliss, they need to start playing closer to their own spawns here, as they have been pushed out on the other side of the map multiple times. It seems like they're getting punished for it just a bit, but as the clock goes down, 23 seconds, Rejects 5 lives, Orgliss 9. The closest player is going to be Saiyan, trying to make noise in the back. He gets taken down, and it doesn't look like any player from Rejects is going to get anywhere close, and the first round should go to the side of Orgliss.
2 on site. We got 1 left to deal with, and Tiki, that's nasty, but the round's over anyway. Orgliss is going to take it. They're able to defend the point. Tiki, such a difficult spot to hold. You know, you got the high ground disadvantage. Of course, you're with people in money looking down on you, people able to find angles in the basketball court. There's just so many different ways that you can go about defending that point, and Orgliss do just that. Of course, we're looking at Disable here. This is a pretty hot start from him to find the double kill on the Gizmo, playing around circle. Expect to see more of his impact felt on the side of Rejects. As I've been saying, I think that the ARs have been really hot for them, but I think that the submachine guns, I think that the submachine guns could do more. I think the Sand needs more follow up to his plays, but really it's the ARs that I think have been keeping them in this series so far.
I completely agree. In that first round, almost felt like Orgliss was looking to play with their food a little bit, but Reject showed some life, and they were able to get that A point and properly push it towards the B side. But Hockey looking to shut down all of Orgliss now. He finds himself too to get him off of the A site, but Orgliss is like, fine, you know what? We give up A. That's all for you. We're gonna push our forces towards B, where you only have Disable, which we shut down very quickly. And they do not know Saiyan is behind them, but he does get a couple shots out where Harry does a quick turn and burn, and that should be a couple ticks gone. And B is virtually harder to get than the A site on raid control. So Orgliss, this will be a huge grab for them if they're able to close out this B site.
They can't even get past Steve-O. The only player that's gotten behind them is Saiyan, and I think he did it without their knowledge here, so Steve-O's going to have to hunt him down. Losing the gunfight, Saiyan's able to stop them, but he is not able to prevent B from being captured. That now puts more than 2 minutes on the board for Orgliss to attempt the A site, which is typically one of the easier ones to capture. And now as we set up for this offensive push, let's take a look at the positioning for the defensive team. We got Nasty up in top laundry. Just next to him is Harry. On the opposite end, they're able to find the only defensive player that would have stopped them from hopping onto the point. But now the rest of them are in art, and it's all up to Steve-O.
I respect the play out of Rejects to instead go hunting in their own spawn, to just push across mid-pool, to go into Orgliss's spawn and get a couple kills there to kind of keep themselves in this game. The only problem, though, is it was Harry and Nasty that were pushed up in their spawn, and once they realized that they were getting ignored by Rejects, they quickly push up onto the side, get 2 ticks, and take down the remnants of Rejects. Now they have a couple seconds. They're not going to make it in. That's going to be the second round onto Orgliss in a very easy fashion. Some life has been shown out of Rejects, but unfortunately they have just been unable to shut down the roll that Orgliss is on.
They are falling apart here. We are looking at the closing stages, the tail end of this series, as it seems like Rejects might have run out of steam. 2 rounds straight for Orgliss. The team up 2-0 in this series are looking to close it out in 3-0 fashion to give us the first 3-0 victory on our broadcast today. 17 kills from Gizmo, 14 from Nasty. I mean, really, it's just they're getting massively outslayed. Orgliss is just, it's a minute and a half of brutality that we're about to witness, I think, here.
Rejects would have to reverse sweep the control as well as reverse sweep the series, and I just do not think Rejects B2 is the team to do that. However, they are trying their hardest. 26-28, already down in lives, and you are about to have Harry and Nasty pushed up on poolside, just spawn trapping you, and this is definitely going to be a brutal minute and a half, as you said, Fox, as our kill feed has not stopped lighting up white as Steve-O and Nasty take down 2 respectively, and Connor and Disable are 7-12 and 7-16 respectively, and Disable has been the one player on Rejects that has kind of been keeping them alive. It's been kind of me making those big plays, and he's getting shut down currently, so It's
Yes.
going to get called in. This should be a pretty
Missiles.
easy 3-0 on the side of Orgliss.
That's all that they were missing was missiles flying from the sky. That's all that Orgliss needed to stow this one away. 30 seconds of Call of Duty left. That's all there is to it. We got several players on the point, though. A is being captured, and nobody from Orgliss is in range to stop it. We'll have to see what they do, as most of their efforts are mounted towards the B site. Disable is still alive and making progress on the point here. Things could turn on their head just like that, as it seems that Orgliss have given up the A site. They just want to clear them off of B and prevent that first tick progress from even being achieved. They will have a minute and a half to secure it now, though. So, Orgliss, their job just got a little bit harder.
Some fight left in Rejects for sure, as they are only down 3 lives and they were able to cap that A site. So now a minute and 20 put back up on the clock. Sand 15 trying to keep his teammates in the game, but the spawn trap is starting to make its way in as Stevo and Harry actually get shut down by Hawk. This is the opening that they need. They need to quickly push through this pool side as Hockey gets a little bit of struggle running into the wall there. And nobody from Orgliss is going to make any of that peaks. The game has started to slow down just a little bit. Nobody on either side wants to give up too much or too little. Stevo does find one, but the trades slowly go out as 3 players of Rejects look to make their way onto the B site. Orgliss is spread out incredibly thin in mid here, but 48 seconds on the clock. They need to make a concisive push here as streaks are starting to get called in.
Nobody from Orgliss hopping into the basketball court. Instead, wait patiently as the score streaks rain down from the sky. Harry finds the double kill to clear out the point. 35 seconds left on the clock. Orgliss earned that advantage. They earned that play. Those score streaks coming in at such an opportune time to kind of reset and refresh this play. Hockey was still able to stay alive and get into basketball court, so expect to see him set foot in the objective here. That's going to cause the Orgliss players, remaining players, to spring into action. Stevo's the closest one to it, and he's going to be searching for Hockey. He's looking for him.
Well, there's the streaks out of Harry. Hockey, I don't understand when he kept tapping the site. He should have just stayed on it and maybe gotten circle and played his live in corners, because he was by himself and he had nobody else near him to help him on side of Rejects. But maybe it was just a fiending wish as Orgliss go 3-0 in control and 3-0 the series stat line. Predictable, but not always is what some of our game's stat lines had said, saying we're going to watch him get the kill cam actually to try and keep his teammates alive, but I can hear the streaks in the background. I mean, Harry and Nasty is absolutely having a game.
Yeah, I mean, Harry and Nasty, what we saw throughout much of that series, that was them just kind of taking over, and I'm sure Spaceman on the sidelines saw a lot of the same. It was really just a brutal beating from Orgliss here in this series, especially in Game 3.
Yeah, Ali called it perfectly going into that series, the duo of Nasty and Harry. And even near the end, kind of, if there was a takeaway of this entire series, it was right at the end when Nasty and Harry were working together down pool steps. You had 3 members trying to push their way in to get onto the point, and Nasty and Harry were just like, they were just waiting, and they were just taking gunfights two at a time and winning it consistently. And that's kind of what this Orgliss team does. They're very good together in bunches, but they're also very clinical on the map, and they don't waste a lot of time getting the play developed, getting through their kills, and getting on to the next objective. Let's take a look at the schedule for today, and a huge 3-0 win for Orgliss. They keep moving on, they keep chugging. It was a 3-2 win for Mavericks to start off the stream, and then Orgliss respond with a 3-0. So already some hot games here for the European side of Call of Duty. Fox, looking at how today has started, anything that stood out to you so far outside of this hot 3-0?
I don't think there's anything that stood out to me so far. I think that we should have expected Mavericks and Team War to have such a tough fight. Even the first 2 maps, that Team War lost, Mavericks was not too far ahead of them, I don't think. And now as we look at Game 2, really, a lot of people should have predicted that Orgliss would be able to take down the newcomers with ease. I'm looking forward to what we got coming up next this evening, though. In North America, Team Canada, No One Shoots Back, UIU, built by gamers, some of our returning teams. It looks real good.
Oh, dude. Team Canada, No One Shoots Back. Like you said, UIU BBG, that's going to be kind of the closeout match for tonight that I think might take the cake for the series today. And it's been an exciting one so far, but I got to tell you, we got a lot more Call of Duty to be played. Until we get to that point, we have to go to a commercial break. But when we come back at 5 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, we're going to continue on with Challengers Day 2 of Stage 5 of the Elite Series, and North America will be up to bat. There is a lot on the line here today, but also just a lot to talk about. Europe had a tremendous day of Call of Duty here, and they close out week 1 in dominant fashion with a 3-0 win by Orgliss. The new roster looks so good, and Nasty is disgusting. We'll see you guys later for North America, and until then, stay safe.